Well, Lindsay Hubbard may want to sing a different medley after Dorinda Medley was drunk as hell at a party and told everyone that Lindsay had a miscarriage. Hello, everyone. It's turtle time.
Oh my God. Was there an update on that topic?
From what I saw last, Hello Skinny but not fat had Lindsay on her podcast, and Lindsay let the world know that that's what she heard, that Dorinda Medley was drunk as a skunk at Margaret Joseph's house for the New Jersey premiere of whatever that last season was. And Dorinda was telling anybody who would listen that Lindsay was suffering from the after effects of a miscarriage. And Lindsay Hubbard heard it from two different sources that it was true.
Oh, so she told people that she had a miscarriage, not that she was pregnant
She was said both. She goes, it's so
at the same
sad.
time?
She goes, it's so sad. She goes, it's both. She goes, she was saying, she
The
goes,
baby
pregnant.
is with us or not. I don't
I
know.
think it's not silly, but imagining Dorinda spreading this news at drunk at Margaret is what makes it silly. But no, she said both had happened. It was Lindsay had a pregnancy and but also had a miscarriage, and then that's kind of how the sort of rumor mill got spreading and churning that Dorinda Medley was the one who meddled in the casting of Traitors and made Lindsay Hubbard not get to do the Traitors activities
Yeah.
because she was with child. But then this kind of is good for Dorinda because Dorinda, in fact, didn't think she was pregnant. According to that, the witnesses at the party, she thought that she was post had suffered a miscarriage.
I love watching the new Traders clips now, imagining Lindsay doing them like fully pregnant, like
Yeah.
crawling through mud or like I don't know, jumping out of a helicopter or something. I don't think I in my mind I get it a little fumbled with or jumbled with World's Toughest Test.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that intense because there was a headline that Denise Richards said she burst her breast implants on World's Toughest Test.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew it wasn't as tough as Toughest Test, but I've seen now Traitors. When I was I was watching Traitors. My wife was watching it, and I've seen now, and it is a little more strenuous. Kyle Cook was buried alive for 45 minutes, and like you just don't know if nobody knew that
Is
Lindsay
that
was.
true?
He was buried alive. I think he had the world record for being buried alive. Or so, it's stuff like that. Like they were having to dig for gold, and like there was this scarecrow competition where one of the traders was like up in a scarecrow outfit, and they had to guess in this scarecrow patch which one was like kind of adorned in scarecrow costume. But it is, if Lindsay didn't tell everyone that she was with child, there is a risk. I'll just say this: there is a risk that Tom Sandoval could have like thrown a football at her stomach or something on accident. You know what I mean?
It
And
would
he
be him.
or whoever. I mean, pick your traitor: Boston Rob, Tony from Survivor. But so anyway, but I think that now we kind of know the origin of where those whispers came about Dorinda possibly sabotaging Lindsay on Traitors. But then, like you say, you said it true. It's like, Lindsay, would you have wanted to go on? Maybe Lindsay didn't know what the hell Traitors was. I didn't know. I thought you just dress up like big chess pieces and people do like chess moves with you. I had no idea it had the strenuous like Survivor games in it.
Yeah. I like to imagine that Lindsay does her research, but why is she still doing interviews? What is she like talking about?
Summer House.
I guess we're not there yet. It's like so far away. It's like a month.
She's doing she's doing PR up ahead. I mean, we're close now. We're less than a month from Summer House, so I think it's time to think about Lindsay
I'm
Hubbard.
not ready to have her back in my life. I feel good without her.
I'm ready. I'm ready for all that Summer House entails. But I understand what you're saying. Have you ever seen Traitors?
I watched the finale last time with friends, and then I watched, I think, most of the first new episode when I was on the airplane home. I downloaded them on Peacock. I just like, I do think it'll be fun, and I'll watch it. I just like really am not geared towards
Me
the
neither.
game
Me neither.
shows. I get a little bored. I'm just like, who cares? Like, it's really not my thing. And then since I don't know who half of them are, I get disinterested because there's all this background that I assume that if you know the background of like, he voted me off on Survivor,
Yes.
like that's very interesting, but I don't care because I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this guy was on Big Brother, Kobe, and he's like, and you have to know that he likes to peek at people through like the vents of the Big Brother house or whatever they do on Big Brother. I know Survivor and I know Bravo, so that makes it a little more fun to me. But
Yeah.
for me, the Bravo personalities, even though they're not good at the competition shit, they're by far the life of the show. Like they provide all of the iconic moments, all the viral moments, like Kate from Below Deck. She got invited back to season 2 because they loved her so much on season 1. So I like more just their personality and how they play the game, like Phaedra and stuff, than I do any of the competition shit. Just like you said,
Totally.
I don't care about who needs to drink from the poison chalice and all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the breakout memes from the seasons past were always Bravo people, like Phaedra and Mercedes and whoever else.
People are saying Tom Sandoval is trading his ass off. Or I don't know if he's a traitor or not, but they say that he's sticking in, not sticking out like a sore thumb, that he's kind of blending into the wallpaper and doing a really good job.
The main takeaway I saw online is that he's sweating a lot.
Oh, I saw that too. People were like, look at this flop failure. He sweats so much during the inquisitions of the traitors. Who won traitors last season?
That's a good question.
Not Phaedra. Maybe Parvati. Parvati?
It was like, I remember it got down to the end and it was like Kate Chastain, I think. And then
Wow, Kate made it to the end of season 2?
I think so.
Whoa.
And then some guy that I didn't remember who he was.
I didn't like on Traitors that like you could guess a traitor and then they're like, okay, now you get to make another traitor. It's like, that sucks. They just got one of the 3 of you out and then you get to like create a new one and now you have to find 3 more. It just felt like, what's his name? Alan Cummings is just completely phoning it in. He like doesn't give a shit about this show.
Emmy winner.
For that?
Yep. He
What
beat
the-
RuPaul.
What the hell? Oh my God. He should be carrying a big...
He's like the only entertaining part about the show.
Oh, he should be carrying a big phone with him to indicate that he's phoning it in. I don't find him... well, okay, sorry.
You're
Anyway.
gonna get comments. People love him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, good. Well, whatever brings people joy. Did you see... Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
He was like, we watched, like, they released the first 7 minutes, like, a couple weeks ago, so we watched it, and I was just laughing at his, over-the-top hosting style, and I was like, haha, love him, or something like that, and Jimmy was like, name one movie he's in, and I was like, Eyes Wide Shut. Boom.
Damn. Holy shit, you did that was a real-life impromptu Cinematrix, and
Absolutely.
you blew it out of the water. Who the hell is he in Eyes Wide Shut?
He plays the hotel, what do you call it, like receptionist
Clerk?
or whatever, clerk, when Tom Cruise goes to look for Nick Nightingale. And he's like, now that you mention it, he did get dragged away by 2 strong men.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And
Leading...
he obviously thinks Tom Cruise is really hot. So he's all like flustered and like,
That's so funny. You know what's so bad about Eyes Wide Shut is how shitty the cities look in it. Have I already talked about that?
There's something about it I love.
Right. Well, people say that because they're like, oh my gosh, isn't it so cool that Kubrick made the city look weird? But it's like because he filmed on this shitty like London set.
Don't you
was
love
supposed to look...
that like Tumblr ass image of Tom Cruise walking on the treadmill with the New York City behind him?
I love that, and I love that it's a Christmas movie. People say.
Oh yes, it's like Die Hard,
Yeah, of course. Tom, not Tom Cruise, not Tom Hanks. Tom Sandoval is morally, I think morally, he's paying his penance, Ebenezer Scrooge style, getting the chains of what did Jacob and Marley have? Chains of kind of like chains of their sins.
Yeah.
Chains of their evil deeds. He's kind of, I would say about 6 links off the 10 link chain have come off because he's gone so good in terms of, I mean, people will be like, oh gosh, this phony idiot who's fostering animals and going into the fire, but he's doing a lot of great stuff and turned his account into fire awareness and stuff.
You know what? I was thinking about this. So yeah, him and his like weird girlfriend are fostering a puppy safe from the fires.
Yes.
And then Ariana's been posting nonstop like information and stuff like that. And I'm like, remember when that's something they would have done together? Like they would have gone so balls to the wall. Like they both love helping.
Activism. Yeah. Yes. Helping. Oh my God. It would have been like tag team. Like, Tom, you go in there with a fire suit on and you start wetting a bunch of the brush. And then Ariana would be there filling water for him and also talking about all the PPE sources you can get the stuff. Like it would be perfect. Now Victoria and Tom have the same type of activism where they're both doing the same shit. Ariana, you need her on the computers and stuff doing a lot of the different sort of research and stuff.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that because we just watched on Patreon not to bring up something else sad, but the Pulse nightclub shooting Pride episode where they're so into being allies and like staunchly, they've always been very into that sort of thing. So I was thinking about how it's interesting that they normally would have been galvanized by something like this.
Exactly right. I didn't even think about that, but it's true. This would have bonded them like no other. Yeah, that Pulse nightclub thing, them rallying around each other in solidarity is one of their proudest moments as a couple. When everyone else looks like complete haters and has that shameful behavior, they're like standing proud. A lot of people are getting out of, doing their penance. Well, not penance, but Dave Grohl also, I saw, he was making big, huge vats of chili for firefighters, and people are like, you can't talk about him being cheating on his wife anymore. Look at how wonderful the stuff that he's doing. You know what I mean?
It's a great PR hack.
Well, it is coming from his heart. Like everyone would have assumed when Dave Grohl was a good person, before, even though he slightly cheats. It kind of makes you think
slightly.
Well, whatever he did.
He sired a child.
Oh, right. It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. But you know what I mean? But it makes you think morally about stuff. Like,
yeah. I mean, I definitely have been like checking in on so I saw, of course, Lisa Vanderpump is Vanderpump Dogs. They're doing free grooming. They're like all, aboard on all of that, which is their whole purpose. So that makes sense. But yeah, like certain things I kept checking. I'm obsessed with Howard Stern's wife, Beth, because she rescues cats basically for a living. And I was like watching the days go by and by and by. And I was like, where's your post?
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Yeah,
she finally did post like she's, doing a fundraiser or something like that. But I was like, why isn't this like your whole thing right now? Like,
maybe she was busy.
I get a little I'm feeling very protective of LA right now. Mm-hmm. So like anyone that's like out of state that like doesn't get it or like talk shit, I'm like, I'll kill you.
Oh, totally. I mean, I feel that way too. I of course I feel that way when people were talking about anything else, but that's just, it's like, but like I've been in the same position where I couldn't feel full blown empathy for, I try. But I'm just saying, if you're not here, it's hard empathy is so hard and to put yourself in other people's shoes. But yeah, when people I follow were talking about going to restaurants and having a bunch of margaritas, I was like, there's trouble here. And a lot of people are hurting and in pain. But you know what, it's constant and everyone is going through stuff. It really is just a reminder that we're all just going through a heap of shit. And before we get too far, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's checking on Amy and I. I went fully dark. People were like, did he pass away? Is he asunder? Was he? But but I was. My family had to. We left because the air quality was so horrible in Pasadena. We were like, Penny is 4 months old. Breathing 400 hazardous air for even one night. We were like, we didn't want to do that. And then ash was blowing all over and stuff. So we were lucky enough to have family in Laguna Beach, which was like just outside of, there was still smoke, but it was not nearly like Pasadena. Yeah. And then we got back and there's still ash. It's still, our house is like covered in ash, which we're going to deal with appropriately. I'm not going to do a bunch of big blowers. I mean, I wanted to blow it so bad. I wanted to put on a huge mask and blow the shit out of it, but I saw that there's a warning about that. But anyway, so but I'm safe and I want to thank every single person. I personally am safe, but Amy, you tell a little bit about your safety.
Oh my God. So if you guys remember from our last episode, I was headed off on a family trip. I left January 4th. I think I'm all mixed up on what the hell day it is, but the fire started it's been a
Tuesday
week, so
night. Tuesday
that
night
was like
hell.
Was that the 7th or
I don't know.
Yeah, the 7th or the 8th.
Yeah.
So like a few days into my trip, I had heard about the winds and stuff, and I was like, that seems bad, but whatever. And then my boyfriend Jimmy's family lives in Altadena, so I was quite concerned because they did have to evacuate quite quickly, and we literally didn't know for days if their house survived because they're right in the thick of it. Mm-hmm. And it does appear that their house somehow survived, but no other house on the entire street did. So
yeah.
It's horrible. And we don't know, they haven't been able to go back because the National Guard is there, so they can't see like how fucked up the inside is, if it's like totally smoked out or whatever, because they just haven't been able to go. So yeah, it's horrifying. It's absolutely terrible. So we're just gonna have to be all hands on deck this year. If we thought 2025 sucked ass, 2024 sucked ass, 2025 already sucks so much worse.
But you can say it's runoff from 2024. You know what I mean?
The universe they weren't awake. They didn't know what year it was yet.
What's that called where you consider a bunch of shit that happened? Like it's that it was just the last big horrible breath of 2024. But yeah, everyone who's affected by this, our hearts go out to you all. There are so many people suffering right now. There's so many individual little charities that you could donate to.
Yeah.
Pick anything that you care about, like a person's actual house, dog rescues, people who need clothing. You could take anything that you're passionate about, water, or anything, and you could probably donate if you have the means to spare, because it's so bad for the people in Los Angeles. And I don't know if people you look at it, you see that Altadena is like completely destroyed, or the Pacific Palisades, but you really have to imagine, I mean, people are in the thick of it right now, dealing with ash and smoke all over Los Angeles, so we're all impacted. And if there's anything you want to do, I'm sure that it would make their dreams come true.
Yeah, we're going to come up with a little something on our end to deploy the little turtle cutie community, but we have to figure out what the best way to do that is, because, there's no one in LA that doesn't know someone. I'd say, if I don't count Jimmy's, like, neighbors, because that's just every neighbor, I know at least, like, 6 or 7 people whose houses burned down, like, just old coworkers, friends, like, between the two neighborhoods. It's like never ending how many people are just, there's nothing left at all.
I only know 2 homeowners in my life. That shows my network. But of the people who I know who are homeowners, they personally, one of my very good friends who are homeowners, they know 4 people that their homes were completely destroyed. 4 personally. Yeah. So imagine the 6 degrees of separation. We're at like 1 degree of people. And you literally know people in your life that have lost their homes. So that's how much it has devastated Los Angeles. So, but keep that in mind. But Amy and I are going to figure out what our skills are that we could bring to help in a way, like Dave Grohl makes his big famous chili. We're going to figure out what Amy and I have skills to bring and what we can do. I don't know. But, I wanted to say, speaking of good deeds, I think you might like this. Jen Shah has been proving to be an exceptional prisoner, not one wrong thing, just early to dinner, picking up her plate and putting it in the trash, no fights, cleaning up her cell to a degree to where they go, oh my God, Jen Shah. Nope, she's not putting up any paintings on the wall or using any stuff like that. And she's going to get out, this is real, Thanksgiving 2026.
That feels so soon.
There's going to be, I don't want to think about it in terms of seasons of Salt Lake City, but if it's very possible that in 2 or 3 seasons, Jen Shah would be back, and it would be like, she's probably reformed, right?
I feel like I could bite my tongue, but I think she's scorched earth over there.
Oh, why? Oh, because she said some stuff like about how the production and.
Yeah, and just like I think Andy thinks she's like disgusting.
Okay. All right. Well, there's no, you're right. There's no opportunity for Jen Shaw to come back, but keep doing that good behavior, Jen Shaw, because.
She'll be on Traitors, though.
Totally. Oh my gosh. She will be, well, she'll probably be bad at Traitors, but keep doing what you're doing, Jen. I think that if you continue to do what you're doing, you could keep pushing that thing up. And don't do what you did before that got you into prison. Don't ever do what you did in terms of the elderly ripping them off. That is the one thing you shouldn't do when you get back.
They let her out and they open her door and she's wearing a headset being like, hello, like, would you like to participate in this bargain I have? And she's like, God damn it.
Oh my God. It's like she wasn't reformed at all. That was kind of like, remember, I mean, this is dark or not as fun, but there's been examples of what's that called? Recidivism in Bravo. Like, remember, like Apollo went back to jail pretty quickly, right? After with Phaedra, do you remember? Like, wasn't he immediately doing scams after?
Once a scammer, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we'll see what happens with her, what happens with Luigi, all of our favorite inmates.
Oh,
kind of like been wiped off of the topic board. I feel like that was 2024.
Yeah,
vibes.
he kind of had a little bit of a Gypsy Rose. People were having a little bit of fun, and then I don't think people want to think about Luigi Mangione anymore. But okay, well, anything else we want to talk about?
I'm trying to think. Was there news? I mean, I guess we're gonna, because there were basically 2 episodes of every show we're going to talk about today: Potomac, Beverly Hills, and RHONY. I think we're kind of just going to like meld them together into like, mostly talking about the newest one. Yeah. But the biggest news from Potomac since Karen's DUI video is that she is noticeably absent from the reunion, which normally is like the death knell. But I do think that being in rehab is a loophole.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a get out of jail free card because no one can get too mad at you. But yeah, I mean, I looked at that thing and I looked at the seating chart and I was like, oh, this all checks out. I go, Ashley's here, Giselle's here, and then instantly I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Karen's not here. And a lot of people are saying, unfortunately, the more pessimistic side, of society is kind of saying that it's, coincidental timing that the DUI footage comes out, and then she was instantly like, I'm going into a private rehab and I'm so proud, or we're so proud of Karen Huger. A lot of people think that it means that Karen has issues with accountability a little bit, so she didn't want to withstand the wrath that would come at her after the entire cast had seen how drunk as hell she was when she was driving.
Yeah, I saw a quote somewhere where Andy was like, Karen isn't there, but she's all over the reunion. I was like, what does that even mean?
Just that they'll be have a full segment and have her clips of her or whatever. I was bummed out because I know that it's good that she went to rehab, obviously. It's not something you can argue with, really. But Karen has been kind of dodging the repercussions of a horrible, horrible action the entire season, and then to really deprive us of her reconciling this at the reunion, at the one outlet where we get to hear from them. She's doing the exact opposite of Shannon Bedore in every way, and I was bummed out because I've been bummed out about Karen doing this the entire season. And it's probably shitty of me to say, but I just don't doubt that that Karen just wanted to get out of the reunion because she didn't want to face this.
She doesn't want to walk through the fire.
Yeah. So it's a bummer. I mean, I don't know why Karen doesn't want to look bad. I mean, like, she's already gotten another DUI. I mean, she was drunk as hell. Don't get me wrong. The footage is really bad. Yeah. But it's not irredeemable. It's not something that people are like, Karen, we want you at the reunion. They're not like, get her off Bravo, fire her forever. Some people liked that she was drunk off her ass, talking like that to cops. Yeah. So I didn't enjoy it. I'm bummed out that Karen's doing it, but you're right. I think that with the rehab, rationale in place, Bravo is not going to cut Karen's contract. They're going to want to see the aftermath. They're not going to they're not going to fire her.
Yeah. They might just, the producers should hold her to a new standard, which I feel like they did with Mary Cosby to a degree, where they were like, you need to participate. You need to come to all the stuff. You need to tell us about more things. Maybe she came to that conclusion herself, but it feels like she's taking her role more seriously this time. And maybe Karen, they'll be like, if you are going to come back, you need to be for real.
Yeah, the DUI footage is the thing that changed everything, because up until the point that was released, she was able to say, "You have no idea the truth of what I went through. I had one beer. Ray was helping me drive in the passenger seat. We had no clue. I could have imagined a world.
It never made sense, but it was just
plausible deniability or whatever. She had the she could to the cast members say, there's something you don't know. There's some evidence. And now when we saw it, it's no, you were the drunkest I've ever seen someone be behind a car. And you were so drunk, even up until when you got into the interrogation room. So she lost that card that she was going to play for the entire season. But anyway, we both watched Potomac. We watched both episodes, and we're going to kind of skimp a little bit on the coverage, because really there was not a lot that warrants it besides being just a generally kind of fun trip in Panama. How are you liking just Panama in general, seeing it?
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like it's almost like a trip I've seen before. I guess I feel like the outline of the Housewives trips gets a little boring, where it's they're at the house, they go shopping in the town, they go on a boat, they go to a beach dinner. It's a little you're
I agree.
All right.
I totally agree. I think trips are becoming a huge trope now. They're too long. They're doing exactly what you just said. A boat. I think I said last week or 2 weeks ago, I am so tired of boat trips. We do not have to go on a boat every single time. They're rarely ever fun unless someone gets dunked overboard or
Karen agrees. She's like, these bitches are always putting me on a boat, and every time I feel sick.
Yeah. I'm wondering why they haven't visited the Panama Canal yet.
True. I wonder how that compares to the what's it called? This is good trivia. What did the Deliceps? Suez Canal.
Oh, it's much. I think Suez is much bigger. Panama. What they tried it first with Panama, and then they're like, let's go all out on Suez. But you're right; those are definitely. those definitely should be considered in terms of huge canals, right? Shipping.
I'm obsessed with every time Luann tries to throw clout and is like, the Deliceps created the Suez Canal. I'm like, oh my God.
I would talk about that forever too. If I had one claim to fame like that, I'd be talking about Suez till the cows came home. But anyway, this is a little light on the stuff that's going on. It's pretty, amiable the entire time. Mia, I'll just say this. Mia is made a huge deal. She had kind of a big moment regarding Gordon and her not knowing where the hell Gordon took her kids. She made it seem like Gordon dropped them off in a dumpster for the weekend, and I think in my mind Mia kind of over exaggerates, and some could say offers falsehoods. So I didn't really buy that it was so mysterious that she had no clue. And it kind of just kept deflating more and more as you learned more details. It was I couldn't get in touch with him, for a couple hours. But it's Gordon is I don't know, could you imagine? He's probably just didn't answer his phone or whatever. I just felt like she was maybe playing into the fact of the mystery a little too much. And also going to the well of making Gordon look like an awful, shitty, a horrible person, when he doesn't have the counter to that. He can't speak up for himself.
Yeah, she did full panic attack mode at the beginning of the episode, but then by the end of the second episode or the next episode, she's like, I'm gonna go see Ink for some sexy time in Atlanta, I think.
Yeah.
But then when everyone's like, what the fuck? Didn't you think your kids were missing in action? Why wouldn't you go see them right away if you were so worried about them being like taken without your permission or whatever. And she's like, no, they're having a great time. They're having the time of their lives. They don't even want to come home. They're riding horses. They're painting with their fingers. They're like doing all kinds of stuff.
They were doing more stuff than I've ever seen. They showed them jumping off a diving board, catching fish. Exactly. They were having the time. She goes, they're having so much fun. I don't even want to see them.
Yeah. But then she also had another card in her pocket where she was like, well, actually my oldest son lives by where Ink lives, so he's who I'm actually going to see. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but I think the point stands that Mia is not 100% trustworthy. No. Trustworthy in what she brings to the audience and brings to the cast members, and everyone thinks that, you know, Mia's probably not telling the full truth about this thing, and that she lies about the stuff that Gordon does. They're not getting the full truth. So I felt the same way. I was just like, I don't know. I don't fully buy this thing.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm also confused, like, I'm kind of jumping around here, but it turns out Mia says to Giselle that she apologized to her already about the comments she made about her daughters. And Giselle's like, yeah, like off camera, like that was weird. Like but I'm like, why wouldn't she want it to be on camera? Unless it was because she talked about the thing that she said that we didn't see.
I think so. That's what just pinged in my brain, that we talked about how Mia got a favorable edit because she was calling Giselle's children the WHORE word, and that got cut out because both Giselle and Mia said, please keep that out of the edit. So maybe that's why Mia thought that she should do it on camera. But then she does apologize in person. I think that was just a little like messy. You know what I mean? There was a little bit of that. There was a lot of Mia and Jacqueline, and I kind of felt like the cast a little bit. Stacy and Karen, they're like, why do we keep having to talk about Mia and Jacqueline and what the hell they're doing? Jacqueline admits that like she's seen Mia make love multiple times with men. She says that Ink and her they've all been in the shower, and that Ink and Jacqueline had a little bit of foreplay with each other. Yeah. There was a lot of getting a little glimpse into Mia and Jacqueline's life. And then
it's like, I'm just like so worn out on the like Mia being like, I'm the sexy one who's like scandalous and like she's my BFF, but because we've been hearing for like at this point years about the fact that they've done sexual encounters together, and I'm like, we get it. That's fine. I don't really care.
I was bored with it. Like, I was tired of it. And we talk, it feels like we talk about it so much. It was like multiple days of the trip talking about if Jacqueline kissed Ink. But then again, like, I don't know, I guess I don't know what else they are talking about. Like, Karen's not talking about her shit. So I don't know. It provided some fodder, but I was getting very tired of it. And then that made Ashley, they named a whole episode after. It was called Red, White, and Smooch. And I go, oh my God, what the hell? I know red, white, and blue, the colors of the United States' flag, but what's a smooch doing in here? And then all of a sudden it's Ashley says to Jacqueline, and I couldn't tell. I was like, wow, Ashley seems sexually attracted to Jacqueline. And in that episode, she goes, hey, she goes, I didn't know why you haven't ever wanted to give me a little kiss on the lips with all this talk about kissing people. And Jacqueline goes, I don't know. I guess I'm shy. And then,
that scene was horny. I was a little bit like, are we supposed to be here? Like, I feel like if the cameras weren't there, they would have like done more.
I felt horny. Ashley gave it a huge pump of horny energy for sure. And she goes, what if I gave you a little smooch? And then Jacqueline was going, I think Mia might be a little jealous. And then Ashley got like a kind of a shiver of excitement. And then they do kiss. And it turns out that exactly as Jacqueline said, Mia was very jealous about this kiss that Ashley planted upon Jacqueline's lips, because she calls her she says something very derogatory about Jacqueline. She goes, she's easy pickings or something, or that's easy meat to kiss or something like that. She really gets mean because Mia really feels like Jacqueline is like her loyal ride or die. She is there to take the brunt of all of Mia's troubles and also push back on everyone. And so the minute that Jacqueline kind of steps aside away from Mia's not shadow, but as her partner in crime, Mia gets really pissed off at Jacqueline, and Jacqueline's gonna need to learn to navigate that, because I don't know what that would mean for her future on the show if she's only just Mia's like ride or die sidekick.
Right. Yeah, Mia said hoes ain't loyal. Also, Karen said, Ashley, you should get a shot because who knows what you interacted with, which I have been enjoying Karen's feud with Jacqueline. It's kind of funny to me. But also, speaking of Ashley being horny, we get a FaceTime between her and Josh, who earlier in the episode, she says there's nothing small about Josh, and then she FaceTimes him and he's like, give me a look at you, and she like puts the camera up and down and he's like, you're killing me over here, and she's like, I can't wait to see you, babe. And I was like, damn, they're like hot and heavy already.
Yeah, he goes, oh my god, he goes, please stop showing me this, please hang up on me, oh my god, I can't look at this anymore. And that is one of my favorite aspects of this season, the fact that Ashley went to that blind date, what was that called? Mystery date testing center, speed dating, and that she found someone that she loves and or is having this much fun with. I think that's really sweet. But yeah, nothing. I think those were the main highlights of the Panama trip. I did like that. Here's one thing I'll say. I mean, unless you think of something else, but Giselle was very standoffish towards Stacy, and she was like, I don't want to room with Stacy. She fucking sucks. And I was like, where did this come from? Yeah. I didn't understand why. It's like the hate train for Stacy left in like the third episode. Everyone likes Stacy now. She's obviously killing it. Yeah. She's a dynamic, fun cast member. So I was kind of like, Giselle, where is this energy coming from? You're kind of just picking on her. But then I really did like at the end, like they had a couple moments where Stacy was being vulnerable about what 4th of July means to her. And Giselle was like, okay, you can touch me for a second and give me a hug. I like that. And then at the end of the trip, Stacey was like, me and Giselle got a lot closer. And Giselle was like, no, we didn't. And then she goes, okay, I'll admit it. Me and Stacey did get a lot better. And I was like, oh, I love that. That was kind of a full arc. Like, I didn't understand what Giselle's resentment towards Stacey was. It came out of nowhere. I think Giselle, that's just her default position maybe to new cast members. But I like that Stacey made headway because I love Stacey. So I was glad that Giselle did.
No, when she did that whole that moment where she talked about how her and her husband met 17 years ago on a plane on 4th of July, and like her dad passed away and his dad passed away and all that. I was like, that was like good for her place on the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah. To show that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the only other big thing that I think might come up again is that Deborah is countersuing Kay for $7 million, which is revealed to her by Wendy at like lunch or something. And Kay says she didn't know, but she's like, that's a joke. Like, I'm not worried about that at all. And then Ashley gets all in her head about that she's embarrassed that she's the one that brought Deborah to the show or to the party or whatever. And she's like, I think you were supposed to get engaged in Paris, but because you had just gotten in that fight, he didn't propose.
Yeah, she thinks that she might have derailed her and Greg's relationship.
The butterfly effect.
Yeah. No, I like that too. I was really offended when I think it was Giselle, when Kay brings up that she's suing Deborah. I believe it was Giselle who goes, oh, that's still a thing? And I was like, yeah, she got fucking hit in the head with a glass from another cast member that wasn't supposed to be there. I was like, that's a big deal to her. A lot of people would sue someone for physically assaulting them and leaving a scar on their head. So I didn't really like the reaction to that. They're kind of like making fun of Kay for still dragging on. But I was proud of Ashley for internalizing that and talking about it being her fault. That was a good moment. I also like when Giselle was like, you're not going to get anything from a civil lawsuit. What the hell are you doing? And Kay goes, that's not my problem. I don't care who the fuck pays me back. Her husband, I don't care if it's her dog, her cat. I was like, that's an amazing mentality. Yeah, I'm gonna get money from this one way or the other because you threw a glass at my head. Yeah,
I feel like I don't know. I'll be curious what happens there.
Me too.
But yeah, so I don't remember if we already said this, but I did see online that I think it was the most recent episode. I don't know if it was this most recent or the one before, but it had a series low of ratings.
Potomac did.
Series, not season.
Series.
I think that's what it said. And I'm like, it made me like second guess. I was like, I've been enjoying the season, but I will say that if I were a normal person watching, there's so much on right now that if I had to like demote one to watch later, it would be this one. Well, I guess RHONY.
Oh yeah, we would.
We'll talk about that
totally.
later.
Yeah. No, you know what? I give it the holiday doldrums pass. I think people were saying, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going on a trip, because they aired one, right before the holidays, and then they're on Sunday, and then they aired as the first to come back.
Yeah.
So I give it a little bit of maybe the holiday doldrums brush. But you can say that at a certain point, if they're at the end of this season, we haven't really drudged up a lot. If we're still talking about Mia and Gordon, and Karen won't talk about her huge shit, we're bringing up Kay's shit from last season. Yeah. Like, I did get a sense that like they were kind of losing steam by the end of this trip, and maybe that's indicative that the season is sort of maybe fizzling out potentially.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think. So like Salt Lake is obviously the best right now. Like,
yeah,
far and away.
It beats the shit out of No. Yeah, I would say Beverly Hills is doing fine, but it's not, bringing me nearly as much joy as Salt Lake City.
No.
RHONY is obviously dead last with a bullet. Potomac is so much more enjoyable in every way than RHONY. And then what am I missing? Is that those are the 4 active shows,
yeah,
right?
and then we have Southern Charm, which can be judged separately, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's high.
No, I think you're right. I think Salt Lake City is by far the most powerful. And Andy seems to be, pleased as punch. He was talking about Salt Lake City, and he was like, this whole season, well, he says this about every season of every show, but he was like, this is a masterpiece, and you will not believe, the reunion. It's just as iconic as anything you've ever seen. So I'm excited about that.
Wait. I mean, yeah, I was catching up on all the episodes on my iPad on the airplane. It was like a 12-hour flight, so I got to watch all of them. And there was well we're not talking about Salt Lake today, we're going to talk about it on our next episode, but I literally I'll just as a teaser, when Brittany makes yet another update, and she's like I have something I haven't told anyone, and she's like it's like complete non sequitur, and she's like, me and Jared have been intimate. I literally like chuckled aloud on the flight. Like, I was like, that's like the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Like,
it's so funny. She's had 4 iconic laugh out loud moments. It's exactly like the "what about me" moment. Like, I loved that moment too. So yeah, we'll talk. We're gonna combine all of our Salt Lake City, because the finale is coming out. So we're gonna combine all of our Salt Lake City thoughts and Southern Charm thoughts on Tuesday's episode. And Amy and I will be fresh as 2 daisies for that one. So we'll be ready to go on that one. But I wanted to ask you, do you want to make like Johnny Depp and start rocking out at the Viper Room?
oh my God, it's 1990, baby.
Bump, bump, bump.
I was scared of where you were going with that. I was like, I don't want to make like Johnny Depp about anything.
Oh, what was a better thing I could have done? He's the only one that I associate with the Viper Room. I guess I could have said, well, I don't know. But do you want to go? Do you want to talk about Beverly Hills?
What the Chuck?
Yeah, well, what the Chuck with a little bit of Viper Room in there, because Viper Room is the main focus.
Yes, Venom in the Viper Room.
Venom in the Viper Room, but we can breeze over that and really talk about what the heavy hitting moments, I think.
Yeah.
So where do you I did like just a little peek before we get into the Viper Room, before we start to totally pick up our guitars and unleash a fury of fun rockin' music. I did like a little bit, so I'll set us up. So first, Dorit has a little bit of a moment to Bose where she gives a status update of her and PK, and this is another example of where I do really enjoy Dorit. Completely. But I do think she does potentially add a little bit of 30% more mustard to a storyline than she actually feels. And so she's playing it up to a degree to where I don't know the authenticity. But she says that her and PK had this therapy session, where she said it was 4 hours long. 4 hours long. It was like not in treatment, but I can't think of the therapy show I'm thinking of, but 4 hours
Couples therapy.
grueling. Like the therapist was like
Yeah,
blowing.
how do you even bill for that? Like, what therapist is available for that long?
The therapist goes, excuse me, cancel my next appointment.
This is
Cancel
too
my
good.
next appointment. Cancel my next appointment. I want to have a 4-hour session. This guy, PK, he's from England, and he is storming around the room. And she says that PK defiantly said, so this is kind of like where I'm like, I don't know if I believe Dorit 100%. No offense to Dorit. But she goes, he was huffing and puffing. He was screaming. He was throwing the tissue box around the room. He was like Tony Soprano with Melfi. He goes, I want a divorce really bad. Right?
Yeah, she's like, he slammed the door. It does feel like, I mean, not that I don't believe her. I'm just saying, like, it feels like she's trying to get ahead of something where she's trying to lay these breadcrumbs to be like,
he's a drunkard.
You guys don't understand, like, what he's like,
He's unstable. He's off his nut right now. She was like painting this picture, and she was like, and then he slammed the door on the therapist. I was like, I've never seen that in history. I mean, I guess, yeah, Tony Soprano did do that to Melfi a couple times.
It made me think about the scene on the Ryan Murphy Menendez show when there's like that huge drama where the therapist figures out, or they admit to the therapist that they killed their parents, and then he's like telling the receptionist, like, don't like, if something happens to me or whatever. Like, I was like, I feel like that's the scene that's been painted of just like pure chaos in the therapist's office.
Totally. It sounded a little overly dramatic to me, and I have to take what Dorit says to be, with a grain of salt. Then, peeking a little further into the episode, I liked the appearance of Martin Lawrence Bullard.
I love.
You loved it? Do you know who that person was?
Yeah. I think I said this before, but he... there was a Bravo show years ago called $1 Million Decorators. It was kind of like an offshoot of $1 Million Listing. And it was like 5 high-end designers, and he was one of them. So I remember him from that. And I know he's done like they said here, star-studded clients. He did RuPaul's House. No, I'm obsessed that both episodes, it's very clearly her arc this season. Like, what a pleasurable arc to be like redecorating. Like, I'll watch that all day.
You know what, too? I was kind of like, Erica found a very good storyline that even I'm intrigued by. I mean, I don't know interior decorating from shit, but even I would be interested in Martin Lawrence Bullard coming around and being like, take that down. That looks like shit. Do you want to have sex in this room? Well, then get rid of that wallpaper, because that looks horrible. So I kind of like that. I like when he gave her his book right away. He goes, I found this book that was really interesting that I thought you might like. He goes, here's my book. It's called Star Style by Martin Lawrence Bullard.
She's like, I'm a big fan. And he's like, you have great taste.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can't freaking wait for the reveal there because they're making it such a big deal. But yeah, he's like, I've seen your music videos. Your bedroom needs to be your sexy sanctuary.
What would you put on that if you're trying to make it sexier? A bedroom or wall, or like a, what's it called? What's the thing
Mirror.
on the top? Roof mirror, obviously.
Oh my God. It made me think of, if anyone alive out there, the Anna Nicole Smith show, she hired her decorator, Bobby Trendy, and he covered her walls in hot pink fur.
Holy shit. For her sexy sanctuary.
So Erica should do that as a nod, as fellow girly who married a 90-year-old man. Totally.
He goes, get that thing that looks like a spider web off your roof, because that one light fixture. Okay. And he goes, is this supposed to be a cabana? He goes, make it look better.
He's like, literally, don't get me started. It looks like absolute dog shit out here. But when I'm done with it.
Yeah. I was like, this is a good tactic to just say everything looks like complete shit.
Yeah.
Do you think he would do any pro bono work?
For us?
Yes. But also, I wanted so badly for Martin Lawrence Bullard to be invited to go to Chuck E. Cheese with Erica, because I wanted to see what because I wanted to see what his reaction would be to the decoration inside that.
This is dreadful.
I would think he would say, dreadful, dreadful. Bring me back to the old Chuck E. Cheese that looked like a cave with those animatronic jamboree.
The Rock-afire explosion.
Yeah, I did not like the look of the new Chuck E. Cheese.
Sucks.
All right, well, but not to step on that. But first, before we get to Chuck E. Cheese, we need to go to a kind of a rock haven in my mind, sort of a Sunset Strip staple. Everybody goes, hey, Sutton goes, can you believe I've never been to the Viper Room before? And her assistant goes, how have you never been? It's like,
why the fuck would she go there?
Sutton at the Viper Room. Like,
I don't think I've been there. I've been to like the whiskey I went there in like high school because they would have all age shows there where like the worst band you've ever heard in your life, your friends, the boys you wanted to hang out with could pay to, if they have 100 people come, you get to perform at the whiskey.
Totally.
And I was like, this place sucks.
Oh, the Roxy. I've been there. Yeah, the Viper Room looks like absolute complete shit inside. It's like one of the ugliest looking bars I've ever seen. Jennifer Tilly goes, I used to play poker in the bathroom here.
I love that.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, cool. And then they go, let's all go, like, let's all rock out, at the Viper Room, because Erica is performing her new single. It's called
What the hell was this?
What do you mean that she had a new single? Or
the execution of this event was so like limp. Like they didn't even show her. They didn't even play the song.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that there was a major sound issue because they didn't play it, and like her vocals were so loud, but they were just playing the song in the background. But I was like, at the very least, she could have sang the vocals to her song. But I thought it sounded. I was in, no offense to Erica, but I thought that maybe it was so badly performed that they were cutting away to show the reactions and stuff because you barely got even 20 seconds of the actual Domino song. I thought
it was like Ali Luber's performance that they cut down to nothing.
Where
it was like, why even bother? Like it took me a minute to even realize that they were there for her. I was like, oh, that's what this is for. And then it was so anticlimactic. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. Yes. I also thought so too. And I also was like, it made me think, is the Viper Room getting a little chunk of this? Because they talked about it so much. They named the episode of it. They talked about all this shit. And that's when Garcelle says, guess what? Right around the time when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, Johnny Depp was in Miami to promote it in the film or whatever. And she goes, she got to make out with him at a club.
She said that?
Yeah, Garcelle said that she made out with Johnny Depp during... I think it was around one of the either
the first
Pirates.
One came out in 2003, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was around either at World's End or on Stranger Tides. In Stranger Tides.
I missed that tidbit.
But then the rocking it kind of has to go down, and then they all sit at a table, and then this is when they all say, Dorit says, hey, I've been hearing about texts between PK and Kyle. And this is where I say I no longer can validate Dorit's, feelings. I don't believe she gives a fucking shit about this. I don't believe that she cared before. I believe she's seen every meme that PK has sent. I'm sure she knows, like, the back of her hand what the fuck PK and Kyle text about. And I think Dorit is starving. Absolutely starving for conflict with Kyle this season. And so she whiffed that thing up and she goes, almost to the point where she's like, I want to see your phone. Like, as if she ever in a million years thinks that there's anything nefarious going on between Kyle and PK. It's ludicrous.
I'm a little bummed out that it appears that this is the road we're going to go down now because the episode after this, it ends with everyone being like, what she read from the text is not what she said it was. And I'm like, you guys think Kyle's like fucking PK? Like, I'm not interested in this at all.
Totally. I really don't like it. You and I were dismissive when the text even came up. I was like, I thought this was a Garcelle flop where we were never going to talk about this again. It's actually gaining steam. It's turning into a tornado, and Dorit wanted to make the biggest meal of her life with it. She gets all pissed and like that it's the worst betrayal of trust in the world, and that gets Kyle to get the maddest she's ever been since she called Camille a liar.
Fucking
You're such
liar.
Yeah, and I was like, I watched the flashback, obviously, and Kyle was like a 3 out of 10. I didn't even think she was that mad. She was way more pissed at Dorit in this
That's
exchange.
one of my what do you call that? Like a sound bite that gets stuck in your head. Like I forget. What do you call that?
You call it when you have something in your head. It's called when something constantly earworm.
Yeah. Brainworm. You're such a fucking liar, Camille. That like plays in my head all the time.
Of course. I have songs that I can't get out of my head for the life of me for days. But then so then Kyle reiterates, it's only memes. It's just
Dying
memes.
to see the memes. Dying to see the memes.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is PK sending? And I have a challenge. I have a challenge of how we can make a lot of money. We do a subtle meme that gets on PK's radar that would make PK have to send it to Kyle. We have to factor in what
Inception.
Totally. We have to think about what brings PK joy.
Boy George.
Something with Boy George. So we have to think about their parallel interests. We have to think about
Boy George working out.
Boy George. Boy George health journey. Yeah. It's something that completely combines new tattoos. Anyway, we have to find their combined correlated interests, and then if we got a meme that went from PK to Kyle, I think you and I should be absolute millionaires if we crack that code.
Okay, we should also do a little bit of journalistic work here and go into PK's follows and see what meme accounts he follows and see which one Kyle follows and see then which ones they both agree are good.
And we have a huge clue. And I don't want people to race and try to do this for us. Well, maybe actually that's a way where we could generate content to do it for us. But here's a clue. Kyle responded before she said that nice text that everybody loves. She sent a laughing face and a
Shamrock.
4-leaf shamrock clover. So does PK like videos of St. Patrick's Day foibles where people get drunk off Guinness or...
I bet he loves like Peaky Blinders memes.
I was thinking something with Peaky Blinders, something with the UK, but it has to correlate. And why would Kyle send back the 4-leaf clover in response to one of his memes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that kind of is a little good push in the right direction. But anyway, that's all I was going to say.
I also, so like the thing that happens at the Viper Room just before all of this is like Sutton awkwardly tries to make a joke to Bose that totally flops, where she's like, are you trying to, because like Kyle's finger gets stuck in Bose's bracelet and Sutton's like, are you trying to weaponize? And Bose is like, what do you mean?
Right. Yeah, I will say, I'm one of I love Sutton most times, but I thought she was flopping like a fish at that Viper Room table. Like, I thought she got her ass handed to her by Dorit. She was also doing a lot of unnecessary stuff, getting in the middle of Kyle and Dorit's moment. And I was kind of like, for the first time ever in my life, I was like, Sutton, just take a back seat on this one. You're not providing any enjoyment here.
I also forgot that Kesha was there.
Oh, right. That didn't really blow me away just because it's something that I could imagine, but nice to see her.
She should have performed with Erica. She needed it. But yeah, it's like the back and forth of this argument. It was just so all over the place. Dorit is like, Kyle would not be okay with me talking to Mo. Then it gets into like Sutton saying that like, because the kids come up, Sutton says you can't shield the kids forever. Then everyone's like, oh God, like don't even talk about that. Like,
yeah,
and then Kyle is like, she basically, the end of it, when she starts getting really pissed, she's saying that, I think she said in her confessional that PK is a better friend to her than Dorit.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, I believe it. And I don't care. I don't mind that Kyle, I'm almost 100% on Kyle's side throughout this whole thing. And I'm going to even get even more on Kyle's side in the next episode too, because I think that Garcelle and Sutton are kind of using Kyle as a punching bag to try to score some points off her, because now Kyle is having to go to them for solace and comfort. And they're trying to take advantage of being with Kyle to land some blows on her.
Yeah.
I got the sense of that a lot. I want to give one stinker moment of the week to Bravo. I have to say, we rarely do this. But I thought it was in very poor taste for Bravo to add a smashing glass noise at the Viper Room, where they pretend as if Dorit smashed a glass and used it to threaten to possibly stab Kyle, or that someone crashed a glass. I go, what is that going to be? There was not one glass that was even rattled or touched in the next episode.
Perfect ADR sound, like when, this, I always say this, but like the cat, the unnatural cat sound where it'll be like, Rear!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Or a potted plant that breaks or whatever. Yeah. I could not believe that they did that. I was like, you cannot put a smashed glass as
Especially
clickbait.
with the other housewives having a whole lawsuit about a broken glass fight.
Yeah. And you looked, right, in the next episode, What the Chuck, there was no even one shard of glass.
Yeah. It happened definitely out of frame, because I put broken glass ? And then it never came up again. But yeah, so the next episode starts exactly from there. They're screaming at each other. Kyle's like, what more do you want from me? And they do start to get closer to each other, and everyone's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Erica goes to Dorit and is like, you gotta stop. This is very bad. And then in that moment, Garcelle is like, Dorit, how are you doing? You hate her anyways. What are you talking about?
Sutton and Garcelle, I just think we're not attuned to what the Viper Room vibe was. Kyle and Dorit are obviously having a major thing going on, and they just both made a huge misstep and derailed the conversation a lot.
Yeah. So ultimately Dorit gets up and leaves. She's like, this is my real life. I don't need to take this shit. So she leaves. Bose sort of sticks up for her after she leaves. She's giving her benefit of the doubt to Sutton and Kyle, I think. We didn't bring up, I think Bose is, as far as I've seen in my Instagram doom scrolling, the only Bravo celebrity who lost their home this week, which I have to imagine if she returns next season will be a huge topic, as it's an LA show. That'll be interesting if that gets covered. I know Camille Grammer's house burned down before, which she reminded us in her appearance a few weeks ago. Yeah. But yeah, that was a bummer.
So sorry, to Bose that you're having to deal with that. That is so awful. Bose, and just to have a Bose moment, Bose is absolutely killing it these two episodes. I was stunned. I was like, first time cast member, she has everyone going to her house to have one-on-one scenes with her, and she's killing it in every scene. Kyle pays deference to Bose. Garcelle goes over there. I was like, and Bose, everything Bose says makes sense. I don't even mind that she's on Dorit's side when I don't agree with Dorit, because I understand why Bose likes Dorit at this point. Yeah. She's not done anything wrong to her, and I think that some of the suspicions she had about Kyle were accurate for why Kyle was going to visit her. Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to Bose that it's rare for them. I don't remember them going to have one-on-one scenes with Crystal and paying deference to her when she was a first season cast member. So
yeah, I mean, I know she had surgery, so they were being nice, but it did feel a little bit kiss the ring almost, or coming for advice, or
and to win over an ally. I mean, Kyle is, I've said this before, I think I said it 2 or 3 episodes ago, but now that Dorit and Kyle are not aligned, Kyle has no one except Erica, who was her original allyship. Yeah. So Erica is kind of compromised. She's on both teams, but she kind of is more on, she's almost more deferring to Dorit in the situation. So that's why scenes where Kyle goes to Garcelle and Sutton to be with him, it seems kind of odd, because I feel like Kyle is now having to find a new group to be in on this cast.
They cannot be trusted.
No.
And so then we go to Kyle goes to Sutton's, and Garcelle joins as well. There's they're playing tennis for some reason. And Kyle's like, my panties are still in a twist. I'm so pissed off. Kyle reveals that she talked to Mo like that morning or something, and that he was like, PK's really depressed right now. He's feeling down. He could use a friend, basically. And she's like, I apparently cannot be friends with him because it makes Dorit uncomfortable. So, you know, I have to do what I have to do. And apparently PK was like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Or Mo said that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Also, that it goes into what Dorit was saying, because at the Viper Room, she was saying, just so you know, PK is absolutely unstable, and I don't know what the hell he's capable of. And I'm like, I'm not even the biggest PK fan, but I've never seen him like how you're talking about. Spiraling out. I mean, I guess she's trying to tie it into his drinking, but he seemed to be doing better about the drinking, you know, when they went and had that dinner.
Yeah.
So I
also just mean, like, okay, say that is true. What is she concerned that will happen if if you're on YouTube, there's a sweet little cameo right now, a little turtle baby.
Yeah, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 28 seconds. Anyway, sorry. Say what you were saying.
Okay, say that that's true, that he is unhinged, and she's like, what the hell is going on with you? What does that quite have to do with him texting Kyle? Like, what is like what does she mean by that?
I don't
like,
know.
You don't know how he is or whatever. And it's like, she's known him for a long time, so if anything, she would be like, what's going on with him right now? Like, he's not himself. Like, I guess I just don't really see the connection between those two
Can
things.
I just say that my take is that I just don't think PK is off his rocker going crazy right now? Like, I don't believe it. I think Dorit is. I think that I don't know if PK wanted to stop filming after that second episode or whatever, but now it just seems like she's trying to paint a narrative to fulfill her desire of having the most explosive storyline this season. You know?
Right. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's weird that they're trying to frame the text as salacious when I just don't think there's anything there. You know, Garcelle and Sutton, after Kyle says, Mauricio says that's dumb, they both are sort of raising their brow like, I wouldn't like that. I would be upset.
Yeah.
Which I also think Kyle would be upset, quite frankly. I think she says that. Like, she was always very like territorial about Mauricio, and they talk later about how his Instagram behavior was questionable. And so I think that's why she's like, okay, fine, I won't talk to him then if that bothers you, because I actually get that. And Kyle is saying, your guys' divorce is different than this situation, because obviously Garcelle had an insane infidelity thing where she found out and like mass emailed everyone she knew that her husband cheated. And Sutton goes, well, you guys had infidelity. And I was like,
I really enjoyed that moment. I thought that was. It's just, why is it so shocking? It felt very shocking.
Like unspoken and unconfirmed, and I'm sure there is something there, but it's never something that she has said. So she like remembered her Bravo Bible wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, well,
you know what I mean?
What does that mean? That
like what has been said officially.
Right. No, I was with Sutton. I remember last season when in the reunion and when she was in her confessionals at the end, I thought in the vaguest way possible, the most ambiguous language possible, she was implying that Mauricio cheated on her. I remember saying it.
Yeah.
She was like, I lost my trust after certain incidents. So I was just like Sutton. And I really feel the way Sutton said it, I don't know if it was the best acting performance of my life, but I really felt in a way that maybe she didn't think it was salacious as when she said it. Like when she actually said it, I thought that she maybe did think that it was just out in the open. But I don't understand. Like it really did like make me think, oh wow, Kyle just has this full like bravo that no one on the cast is allowed to talk about. And that's really interesting because it's like something that everyone talks about and everyone assumes. And you haven't really said definitively why you and Mauricio separated. So everyone assumes that there was infidelity. So that's why it felt very scandalous, but I didn't understand why that was so off the table and why it shocked me, you know.
Right. Yeah. And Kyle just goes, who did? When?
Who? Oh,
Who
I was
said
talking.
that?
I was talking about PK. What about Mauricio? Does that have to do with it?
And I thought Sutton played it off pretty well because Kyle just goes, well, did you mean about the Instagram thing? And they show the clip of when she's like, yeah, he would be like chatting with ladies on Instagram in a way that I did not like.
He was putting those eyes that look to the left emojis. He was commenting that on bikini photos.
I was just revisiting the Adam Lambert DMs. Oh my God, not Adam Lambert. Wait, who's Maroon 5?
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. That little stinker from Maroon 5 who likes to cheat.
Adam
Levine?
Adam Lambert is very different.
Yeah, he was cheating.
Adam Levine is, I think they're married. They have kids, to like a Victoria's Secret model, like, you know, just the male ideal. But he was DMing other ladies, and I forget what it was. He said something hilarious, like it was like, your body's just insane, or like your body's like off the charts.
I thought he sent that emoji that had the tongue out and saliva is pouring out of it, where the eyes are rolling back in the head. I saw Adam Levine at this thing. I went to this like really shitty thing to promote Miley Cyrus when she was on American Idol. And it was like one of these things where you're not even background. You're just like this fake audience for them to like perform in front of you for like the intro or whatever. And Adam Levine seemed like such a fucking dickhead. I was like, oh my God, this guy sucks so bad. He like wouldn't even look at anybody. He was treating everybody like shit. Like Miley Cyrus was so nice and was waving to people, but he was basically treating the people in the audience like we were like cardboard cutouts that he didn't need to even look at. He was awful.
No, he seems bad. Oh my gosh, you'll really enjoy these though. They're very funny. He goes, holy shit, holy fucking shit, that body of yours is absurd.
Holy shit, oh my God.
He also said, watching your ass jiggle on that table will permanently scar me, but otherwise I'm amazing.
And he was married?
I'd do anything for it.
Oh my God. Did we ever find out what A-Rod, his messages to Madison looked like?
Oh my God, I would love to see that shit.
I bet they were also like steam coming out of the ears. I love this so much. I'm so attracted to you.
Oh yeah.
Why did Adam Levine do that while he's married?
Pervert.
So then, so we're at the tennis thing. You're right. Kyle gets out of it. She goes, oh, that's stuff about the Instagram. And then this is when Sutton goes, oh, I'm going to take advantage of Kyle being at my house with Garcelle. If she's coming to my house, I'm going to suck her dry for all of the entertainment I can get out of this. She goes, was it just memes? And then she tries to get the scoop that maybe Kyle sent more than just a bunch of like what you said, like the kind of memes that they love.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of stuff they send, but I don't think that this is when she tells it specifically what it was. She goes, I'm not going to show my phone like I'm in high school, about this.
Yeah. Then we go over to Dorit and Erica and Martin Lawrence Boulard.
I didn't know that Martin lived at HD Buttercup.
He's like he's placed under a curse. He can't leave.
If I remember correctly, he came down the stairs with a cup of coffee that said, don't talk to me before my coffee. I thought he lived at the top of that place.
Is that in Culver City?
I don't know, but I've seen it and I never knew as an interior decorating. I thought it was that place
converted. Like it used to be like a bakery or something.
I thought it was the place that had that weird ketchup.
Go on.
You know that place that like, I don't know. Anyway, that's why it reminded me of a bakery because of how it looked. But I love when Erica, so Martin's going like, oh my God, look at this place. It's Cocoa Republic. Oh my God, like look at this stuff. And then I like when Erica said that Tom Girardi's, I love this added detail. She goes, Tom's second wife pulled up to his house with an 18-wheeler truck and took absolutely everything from his house, even the toilet paper. And I was like, whoa. Like she cleaned him out completely. And Erica goes, I was basically fighting for 4 forks and 4 knives.
Yeah. I mean, I think she supervised the decoration of that old house and she thinks it was great. But I'm like, you don't want that stuff. I'm like, it was a totally different vibe. Like, it was like so stuffy and like
It
old school.
it was like Renaissance.
Yeah, I'm like, you want
I like her
the
new.
sexy sanctuary.
I love her new place. I think
It's cute. I like that she keeps being like, is it my forever home? Absolutely not. Would I like somewhere better? Yes. And I'm like, to most people that is a fine place.
I know. I would live in that cabana. Just
Yeah.
close the curtain on me and let me live there.
I know. I'm like, how small could it be if it has a yard like that? Like, she acts like she lives in a back house, and I'm like, it's just like a normal sized home.
I know, but once you've had a taste of what Tom Tom gives
Not
you.
Tommy.
Tommy Girardi. But I don't remember anything else that happens at HD Buttercup. Anything notable to you that you liked?
Just that the PK shit comes up there, and she's like, if the tables were turned, Kyle would not be cool with it. So that keeps coming up. It's kind of interesting seeing like every time a car pulls up anywhere, I'm like, whose scene is with who? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just like, doesn't necessarily make total sense. Like, you're like, okay, it's going to be Kyle and Sutton and Garcelle. And then you're like, okay, it's Erica and Dorit. Like, you're kind of just like figuring out how they're going to play it.
I get that. Yeah, I think that too. This is when Kyle drops in on Bose. Bose had surgery.
Another fibroid.
Yeah.
That's like at least the third housewife that I can think of off the top of my head that's had fibroids.
I know. Yeah. Fibroids. And Bose is recovering. Kyle got her amazing flowers. They look 3 times as good as what the shit that Dorit brought over. Her flowers are basically wilting and they look like shit. And then Bose goes, I don't know why Kyle is here, but I think it's either one of two things. She wants to tell me the side of the story that I'm not hearing because I'm so close to Dorit, or potentially try to get me to align with Kyle in spite of Dorit or against Dorit. And I was like, yeah, those are 2 plausible reasons why Kyle is there. That's exactly what I thought was happening.
Yeah. We also get the intel that she's hoping that post-fibroid surgery that she will still be able to carry a child. She's currently 47 years old. I will, whatever you want, girl, but that stresses me out. But
Well, Keely said he wanted 3 kids.
I can't think about that. That
Okay.
is scary. But I like this scene because she's not in the tank for Kyle, so she's being like objective and like kind of challenging her, but in like a friendly way.
I thought so too.
And she's like, I'm the kind of person that has a ton of really close friends, and some of my besties think I have, at least one jealous bestie who thinks they're the only bestie. So then when I do shit without her, she gets pissed. And she's like, it feels like that could be the situation, which totally seems true, where it's like they have different ideas of what a close friendship is, and Dorit feels abandoned while Kyle is like, you're just one of my good friends, but like I do shit without you a lot.
Yeah. No, it put made me rethink everything. It was like the perfect explanation for possibly what's going on. I didn't even think about that, but I do think that Dorit just like cared about Kyle and her circle more than Kyle cares about her. Yeah. It's sad to be that one close friend that thinks that you're the only friend in the world.
Yeah.
And you go,
Bummer.
oh, and you do stuff with other people, not just me. Kyle is using Bose as a springboard to launch at Dorit even more. She goes, Dorit is just doing this fucking fake shit because she had the rumors against her about her and Mo, and it was way worse. The internet had a field day when when Dorit kissed Kyle, oh my god, when Dorit, in the throes of agony, gave Mauricio a little peck on the back. And she goes, so what that rumor mill was so much more horrible. So it's almost a deflection to say that there's anything scandalous about what's happening with PK.
That was kind of wild. I was like, that was kind of a bold choice to bring that to the table at this point.
Well, but I thought that it's a ripe comparison. I mean,
that one is more juicy because you're like, Dorit would at least consider fucking Mauricio I'm sorry, but not the other way around.
I don't know. I could imagine Kyle and PK having sex.
She borderline isn't even straight anymore. Why would she choose him?
Right. No, of course. I don't think that she would have sex.
You can
with
tell
PK.
she almost said something to that
Yeah.
a line at one point. She goes,
Yeah.
no offense, but, and then she like doesn't say anything else. I was like, I know what you were going to say.
Yeah, it's not right that she's not as sexually attracted to PK as Dorit could potentially be attracted to Mauricio.
Yeah. She also said, she goes, when I'm really close with someone, I tell them everything, but Dorit never told me anything. And they show that like how Dorit sort of obfuscated her relationship issues on the show for a long time.
Yeah.
And Bose is like, are you telling me that the girl that ran up to me and, you know, told me her husband is an alcoholic and she's getting separated didn't tell you anything? And I was like, yeah, she did that on purpose for a very specific reason. Like, that was not a natural thing to do. Like,
Right.
She was like, you're my new target as my sounding, like my ear to help me have clout on the show. I was like, that wasn't like a natural environment, the same as a real friendship.
I agree with that too. I think that's right. And then you know, Kyle goes in even more. She goes. I'm not showing her phone. I don't give a shit if she wants to see it, so she can fuck off.
Yeah.
And Bose is astounded. She goes, they say that a hit dog or a dog that's been hit hollers, and she goes, and Kyle is hollering her ass off right now. Right?
Yeah. I'm almost like, I mean, I guess I understand why Kyle's pissed off, because she's like, how dare you take me down this road where I have to defend myself against this dumbass shit? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for her to be like, I'm sorry that you feel like, again, I feel like it's not about her talking to PK. It's that Dorit is like, it's crazy that you're talking to him, but not me. Like, that she's hurt that's where they are in their relationship right now. I don't think it's about what she thinks they're talking about.
Yeah. I understand Kyle getting frustrated and why she's going to take a week pause, which I heard about. She's going to take a week off, but I think that she's tired. She's still the shining diamond of this cast, and everyone wants to have grab a mirror that takes some of the shine and points them at themselves. And Dorit is the latest example. And then Garcelle and Sutton do it a lot too. It's like, how can we make Kyle mad or get Kyle to do something? And I think that Kyle is aware of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, after that, we get a wonderful scene where I think Bose had an amazing dynamic one-on-one with Kyle. I absolutely love that scene. Then we get a fun thing where Kyle, Garcelle, and Sutton gather around. It's all iPhone footage. I was like, oh, I love this cinema verite thing where it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. And it sounds like, or no, sorry, it doesn't sound like, Erica has been telling anyone who will listen that she wants
Where's
the pizza.
my pizza party?
Yes, she wants the pizza party who did they give a pizza party to? Kyle. She goes, where was my pizza party? And I thought that she only said that to the audience and her therapist, but then they show all these flashes where Erica's been saying it to 4 different people. She goes, I never got a pizza party. So then they go, let's throw her one of the best pizza parties she'll ever remember of her life right now.
Yeah. I wonder which one they went to. They referred to being in the Deep Valley or something like that. But yeah, we were talking about it earlier. It's so sad what Chuck E. Cheese has come to compared to what we had.
Yeah, well, so tell me, I think I only went once, and I was too scared of Chuck E. I had to leave. I had a birthday party there, and Chuck E. Cheese scared me. It was my 12th birthday party, and I had to leave.
12th.
But so I haven't been.
They've retired the Rockefeller.
Was it like a grotto?
Man.
Was it a grotto?
What do you mean by that?
Was it like a dark? Was it like? Was it? It wasn't like a dark cave. I think I maybe went to an off-brand one in California where it was like a pizza bunny or something, and it was like a dark.
That sounds scary.
Anyway, so it wasn't dark before.
I mean, I think that there was like the band, when they would play, like they had like lights, like a concert on them. So I don't remember if they dimmed the audience lights at that time.
So the walls were painted black.
There weren't cages.
So
Gate.
So I think,
I mean, you were in Florida, weren't you?
So I'm thinking, yeah, but yeah. So I'm thinking, I don't remember probably what Chuck E. Cheese. I think I went to this one in California called Pizza Rabbit, and it was like a fake one. So I don't remember. So tell me, what was it like popping into a Chuck E. Cheese back in its glory?
I mean, it was really all about the show. I haven't seen him in a while. You know, I'm totally beholden to the TikTok algorithm. I hope it for longer, or maybe I don't. But there was a guy that managed a Chuck E. Cheese, like current day, and his location still had the Rock-afire explosion. It was like the last one, but they were going to start phasing it out like soon. And it was like they literally used like what was like pre-floppy, like the big floppies, like
I don't remember.
Just like the technology that it was running off of still to this day was like absolutely insane. And I was obsessed with watching him like put the disc in and like seeing the screen and how he would set it up. And I was like, I know that's not, you know, maintainable, but I just love that they're like forced to live in the past this way. And it's sad to me that now it's just like a video.
Yeah, I know, that was really sad. They started lighting on fire the Chucky animals.
Is that what that movie? I feel like this is a huge blind spot for me because it was a big deal. But Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh shit! Yeah, I've never seen that, and I never had any interest in it. But it does look like there's like a Chuck E. Cheese thing. Did you know that this is so stupid to bring up? But they got rid of the inspiration for Chuck E. Cheese, the Country Bear Jamboree at Disneyland. Did you know that?
Sucks.
They were so cool. Do you remember the one that would blow in a jug?
Yeah, I haven't been to they redid Splash Mountain for racism reasons, and I'm curious what it looks like now, if they kept any of the little Easter eggs.
Me too. I think there's a couple, like if you really close your eyes, you can see some of the original Splash Mountain characters. But so they go, Erica, put on a blindfold, and she goes, what am I gonna get on a private plane to Las Vegas? And they go, open your eyes, and she's at Chuck E. Cheese, and she goes in, and you're right, it looks like a absolutely shitty Dave and Buster's.
Yeah,
3 games, bright as hell. I like when it was dark.
Yeah.
That video of them, just the Jamboree band playing music, and you just watch it, and then they get pizza and they play games. But I thought this was funny just for how jarring it was to see the cast of Beverly Hills and Chuck E. Cheese, even though it looks like shit and it wasn't probably actually fun. I just loved the idea of them having that spur of the moment energy, getting to a Chuck E. Cheese and doing something that they would normally never do.
Totally. And they have like a real life conversation while they're there. Kyle says that she still talks to Mauricio and they FaceTime and stuff. This is where Erica says like Tom is awaiting trial right now. So even though she has this new life, you know, her life kind of sucks because that's just upsetting.
I can't believe they're going to put him on the stand.
Ooh. I don't think... I don't know what I was going to say. I wish we got to see that, but I don't.
Yeah, I can't believe he's going to trial. Oh, I think you just say, I think it's punishment enough.
I saw a clip of, was it Erica on Watch What Happens Live? And Raquel from RHONY was on. And she was saying that, you know, he was found competent to stand trial, and apparently Raquel's, their fiancés, right? They're engaged. Mel, that's her literal job, is to like interview people and find out if they're competent to stand trial.
Oh, I would blow it so good if Mel came to see me. I would say
she would be like, send him away and throw away the key.
I'd say this guy needs to go to Arkham Asylum. Don't even put him in the ones that we use. How did Tom Girardi pass? That is like, yep, Anyway, that's another thing. But Erica does. She goes, "It is sad. I don't care." She goes, "I don't really give a shit what the audience thinks of Tom Girardi. It is sad that he has to go to trial." I was like, "Yeah, I agree."
Yeah.
Then
So yeah.
one thing I wanted to just point out that kind of is to my point is that Garcelle, I thought I was kind of like, Garcelle and Sutton, you're blowing it with Kyle. She's not going to go to Chuck E. Cheese with you very much longer if you keep trying to score points off her like this. Garcelle goes, she thinks it's very innocent or whatever. She goes, Kyle, I was just going to say something as we eat this Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Do whatever you want. Live your life. Be a lesbian. And Kyle laughs, and they kind of have that nervous laughter, but it was totally Garcelle trying to have a moment at Kyle's expense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was, everyone was like, damn. And then they talk about Kyle's like, I will read you guys the PK text, but I will not bring this up again, and I will not show Dorit, but I'll just show you so that you can leave me alone.
Yeah.
And it basically said something like, I've been seeing what's going on. Just know, I'll be there for you, and I won't repeat anything that you've told me, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the way I was not shocked about that message whatsoever, and then the way that everyone else on the show, that when they heard it, freaked out.
It made the Chuck E. Cheese mascot's head start spinning. But I was also like, this is not a big deal. But then they were like, oh my God, she admitted it. She said, I'm a steel vault and you could tell me anything and I'll never share the secrets. As if it's like a big deal. It's like, no. I mean, it's like Kyle said that she's PK's friend. She has a separate friendship with him. I mean, I guess she did underscore a little bit, but they're treating it like it's the biggest revelation in the world, I
assumed that it meant more like, because the four of them were so close for so long, she probably is privy to certain things that either would be worrisome to come out publicly in the press or on the show. I feel like she was basically just saying I got you, it just didn't seem like a big deal to me at all.
They're so geared up to call Kyle out or get something from Kyle. I was just like, enough. It's
and it was also, that was the initial, we're talking about, I feel like the issue at hand is if they have an ongoing text relationship, and that one that she read very much sounded like the initial hey, I heard that you guys are going through it right now, I'm here for you or whatever. You're not allowed to send that text,
right?
If anything, that's the one you're allowed to send, and then it's all right, and now stop having a fun back and forth.
Yeah, she should have gone up one message and just been like, look at the garbage he normally sends me.
Yeah. Look at this trash can Paul or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So then Erica, Garcelle, and Sutton all exchange glances at each other oh my God, did she really just do that on camera? And then that's kind of the rest of the episode. Kyle keeps saying this is too much for me. I'm never repairing my relationship with Dorit. Her main takeaway is that Dorit and I squashed the beef, whatever the fuck it was originally. She didn't even believe Dorit, whatever the hell her problem was before. And then now she thinks Dorit is doubling down, making a bigger deal about this. So she's like, I'm done with Dorit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she's at the end of her rope with Dorit.
Yeah. And then the very end is Garcelle telling Bose about the text message. And when she tells her what it says, Bose goes, oh, hell no. And Garcelle goes, that part. And I was like, what?
Garcelle goes, I think the gist of it was, I won't say anything and I never have. And it's like, okay, I don't think you read that right. It didn't have the implications that you just said to Bose. And then Bose treats it like it's also, the biggest revelation in the world. And it's like, well, in Bose's defense, Garcelle said it kind of in the most, the worst light to say anything. It was kind of like, a little bit of the message got lost once it got to Garcelle. Yeah. She was paraphrasing, but it didn't come off right. And Bose is treating it like it's, the biggest deal. And then that's going to lead us to next week's episode when Bose goes, I want to see the text in front of everyone, in front of Dorit. And that's when Kyle's going to fly off the handle and she's going to take a week off from filming, I read.
Yeah. She runs off and she's like, she said something about like, I've loved your family all these years, like fuck this, like I'm out of here, whatever. And you can tell from the clip that Dorit goes, she's like, Kyle, like you can tell that she's like not mad. She's like, please don't leave. And I'm like, I bet that she read the text and it was like, hey PK, like heard you're breaking up, that sucks, I'm here for you. And she was probably like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's sort of it's like Whitney does this to a lesser extent, but it's kind of like Whitney and Heather in a way, where Dorit thinks she's going to get away with this at the end. She thinks that she's going to get to have one talk with Kyle, and Kyle's going to forgive her, and they can start a new leaf next season. She's really toying with Kyle to see how far she can ruin this friendship, but she secretly still loves Kyle and is just hurt that Kyle kicked her to the curb for a little bit. But I don't think Kyle's ever going to recover from this. I don't think Dorit will ever be Kyle's friend after this one because of how she treated Kyle. But how do you feel about doing a quick little dip in the beautiful ocean of Puerto Rico?
Wonderful. A beautiful nation, unlike what Uba said.
Totally. So I have to say up front, if we're really giving this the overall high-level treatment, I was astounded by the start of last week's episode of RHONY when out of nowhere, and I'm saying nowhere, Brynn brings up some anti-Jessel slander for no reason.
Yeah.
Completely unprovoked, unwarranted, unwanted, awful. And it's like both episodes have a little chunk of this absolutely garbage, fabricated, very dumb, anti-Jessel slander. I was like, you guys didn't learn from last season? And also, this is even worse than the shit that you were attacking Jessel with last season. It was like, what is Brynn doing?
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
Well, it was like all of them, quite frankly, which is the topic of the next episode. It's basically the definition of mean girl. Like, they're just dogging on her apartment, which I'm like, I get what you're saying, but I'm like, you're just being bitches. Like, they were like, her, like, Restoration Hardware catalog apartment with a price tag on the plant. Then they're like, her and Pavitt like don't seem like they fuck. They really just seem more like friends.
But why? Why did what happened? What did Jessel do? I didn't understand it at all. It was like, hey, we're sucking the life out of this trip. Let's just start talking shit about Jessel and create a big nothing out of something that happened off camera that we've never heard about, we never saw, I never needed to know about. That photo shoot that Brynn skipped the
Aaron
line
is like, just Jessel told me that it really pissed her off when you skipped her you went ahead of her at the Bravo season 2 or whatever season we're on, photo shoot or whatever. Then they started talking shit about how she always has photographers, which the show kind of sanctioned because they did a whole montage of like her family photos and stuff. But yeah, they just went on and on and on. I'm like, damn, bitches. Like, I guess I'm glad that it's coming to fruition, at least that like Aaron can't play like she wasn't absolutely part of that conversation.
Yeah. I learned from these 2 episodes that everything Brynn spawns, everything that comes from Brynn is pure shit.
Yeah.
If this show was only directed by Brynn, this would be an even worse show. And already 75% of the content is derived from Brynn, and it's just pure shit. The pubes prank was Brynn. This whole Jessel assault that came out of nowhere was Brynn. There's more stuff that Brynn created that I can't even.
Rolled around on the sand in front of that fucking lifeguard.
Everything that she touches, it turns to pure shit. And it's very clear in these 2 episodes. I was like, oh, the pube prank was Brynn. Bad idea. Nip that in the bud. So it's just, I was like, whoa, these are really, I was like, Brynn is by far the LVP of these 2 episodes. And then I want to give a huge MVP because I actually was pretty divided. This has some of the worst moments I've ever seen, but I think this has some of the best moments I've ever seen of this iteration of RHONY because I enjoyed what Uba was bringing to these 2 episodes. I was having fun with Uba.
Yeah.
I think she was ripping it apart and bringing something, and her fed upness is how I felt about her rebelling against Bryn and being like, this fucking sucks. That lifeguard shit sucks. I'm just going to sit back at this table and not talk because I hate what you all are doing. I was like, blow this shit up. Like, it sucks. Like, I was so proud of someone. And also, I was like, Uba, this energy is what Ramona would bring on day one of a trip. You encapsulated what Ramona would have done on an off day, and I love it. I need it. Complaining about dead pigeons in a beach in the water, that's what Ramona would do. Yeah. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with you calling out threesome conversations being distasteful. I loved every moment of it. I was like, wow, thank you, Uba, for at least making something that is actually compelling. And the aftermath, the wake that Uba creates is actually worth watching, because I can imagine people being like, don't talk about dead pigeons in the beach. Like, I could imagine Raquel. It was actually fodder, good, compelling entertainment, and it was only because Uba was flying off the handle and wreaking havoc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she has no self-awareness. Like, when they're like, that was offensive, she's like, I was saying the truth.
Yeah, she's like,
she's like, there's no way that could be offensive if it's the truth.
Yeah, no, and I was like, okay, that's your point. Like, that's your stance. Like, it was good. I mean, it to me, it was just like, it brought a little bit of life to one of the most boring shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then I want to say an example. Like, we'll let's just like dip into the highlights or what you want to talk about. But I will say that the pube stuff. So like they get to dinner. The pube talk. Apparently, I'm just going to say it because they talk about it. Jenna has pubic hair that is long, and it goes to either side of her underwear, and she shows a picture to everyone. And I was
wish
like,
we could just see it.
I know. I mean, they do like artist rendering of it and like courtroom sketches of it. But I was like, okay, we have an anecdote. It's something. She has pubes. I don't love it. Yeah. I give it a 5 out of 10. It's not very funny. Yeah. But whatever. They beat it completely dead. Yeah. Beat the shit out of it. By talking about it. It's like, oh my God, no more. I liked it for 1 second. I didn't even like it for 1 second. Yeah. Bryn makes the prank of it.
Body humor.
Yeah. The only thing I liked that it generated was when Uba said, why am I here? When she's screaming, she goes, why am I here? She goes, I don't want to say it, but she has an iconic line. It will sound absolutely filthy coming out of my mouth. But she basically says, I'm here to shave
Jenna's pussy.
I was like, that was actually kind of funny for an off-the-cuff statement. But the dinner is so boring because so they go to dinner. It's Bryn led. So Bryn is going, Jessel, I heard that you were mad at me because you said I was mad at you. Aaron said you were really mad. And Jessel goes, I wasn't mad. Please stop talking about this. I wasn't mad. What are you talking about? Aaron goes, you were really mad. She goes, no, I wasn't. Fuck off. Shut up. And then Aaron gets really pissed. It's like, I'm so annoyed with the Jessel stuff. Yeah. Then Uba wants to tune out, which we all do. The audience wants to go on their phone. We're done. This dinner sucks. And then Bryn gets so self-conscious that her dinner is ruined because it sucks. And it's like watching nothing. And she goes, Uba, get in here. What are you doing? Why are you going to sleep? It's like on a normal show, if you're just watching one side of the table and they're all having the time of their life doing a bunch of fun shit, you would never notice that one cast member was on their phone for 5 minutes. But because they're so desperate of who's lacking entertainment and what they're creating here, that all eyes are now on Uba sleeping. It's like, it didn't have to be. Do something better on your side of the table. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, none of your business when I'm doing on my phone. And then she does, I don't even know what the hell her impression is, but she has her feet up on the table and it's a whole thing. And then, that's where she says, I'm here to shave Jenna's pussy. And then Uba is saying that she's being bullied. And this is where she makes the comment that Bryn potentially slept with someone to get this job, which it's like a fourth wall break because they're talking about casting basically, which you can tell that like, it was a very off the cuff comment. Like, she wasn't implying anything based off of any sort of truth. She was just being a bitch.
Yeah, I thought so too. It didn't strike me as hard as it did everyone else.
Yeah, and Bryn is like, that's the worst thing you could possibly say to a woman, which I was like, really?
Well, I was kind of like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you can say, Riley, stop it. But I was like, is that not in any realm of Bryn's like typical sort of humor?
Totally
Sucking,
is. That's what we were talking about before.
sucking
when, like,
dick and.
she was borderline about to like sue Jeff Lewis for for questioning if she had a sugar daddy, and she was like, that is disgusting. And I'm like, that's your entire bag, is that sort of like
And then
humor.
with the lifeguard, she was like, I'm dying, I'm choking. Have sex with me, please. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know ever what Bryn is going to be offended by or anything, you know?
I know.
Yeah. Uba, I did like, Uba gives another iconic moment that made me laugh out loud just because it's so, I don't know, interesting. But Bryn goes, hey, on the way over here, Uba said she doesn't care if we all die. And then they're like, they have the footage. They're like, she's like, Uba, turn the light off in your car or on your phone or whatever. Yeah. She goes, you're going to make us all die. And goes, Uba, the world cares or whatever. And Uba goes, I don't give a fuck about the world or you. The world and you can both die. And I was like, whoa, she did say that to Bryn.
She's like nuts.
I think that she is really, really just fucking pissed at this trip and wants to go home. She didn't like her room assignment. She doesn't like the beach. She doesn't like the content that they're creating. She doesn't like Bryn. She doesn't like the show. I mean, I don't think she likes the show at this point.
Misunderstands the point of a show. It's like when I watch Housewives in front of my mom and she goes, why would they all hang out? They don't like each other. And I'm like, we can't be asking these questions. I was like, that is not the point.
True. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, totally. A little bit of that. So yeah, they go back, I believe. I don't know if you want to talk about like anything about, I mean, mainly we get to the beach, but is there anything that you wanted to, touch upon?
I mean, it feels like just Uba's tact is no longer in the building, if she ever had any. She talks about how she supported Bryn a lot when she was having a hard time with her family, and then she pulls this example where she goes something like, you can't stop your mom from dying. Yeah. So like, don't sweat the small stuff, basically. And it's like, bitch, like Erin's mom literally has cancer. Like both her parents have cancer. Like, why would you say that?
I know, but I would be the person who accidentally says something like that. Oh, seriously, I would make a cancer analogy and find out that someone next to me, like, you know what I mean? It was foot and mouth. Like I didn't take too much.
I guess I'm just like, she almost exclusively, I feel like almost everything she says is like offensive all the time.
Right.
And then, Erin then starts crying in her room, and she reveals here that her dad has cancer, which we know that he recently passed away.
Yeah. So horrible. But, Bryn, I was like, that's a nice moment. It was like touching. And she was like, Bryn and I have a secret bond. You all don't know it, but we secretly love each other. And Bryn's like, and then I'm like, Bryn, you ruin these moments again. She's like, you're a great daughter. You're a great, great, great daughter, stepdaughter. Remember the date your dad thing? I'm like your stepmom. You remember dating your dad? And I was like, oh my God, Bryn, we got it the first time. Please.
So annoying.
You ruined the moment by what's that called? By beating a dead horse like that.
Yeah. Beating a dead pigeon, which is where we're at right now. They all go to the beach, which Raquel tells everyone this is a beach she grew up going to in her childhood. She loves it. She didn't want to take them to what they call the Gringo Beach, which, she was trying to give them an authentic experience, which is like an act of vulnerability. Like when someone plans a trip and they're like bringing you somewhere, like you do have to be courteous to the fact that they put it together, and that like you don't want to make them feel like shit.
Right.
Like, and that is the definition of rude.
Yes, I will give it the full rude. It was definitely rude, because Uba, she sees, unfortunately, a little fish that's spinning, dead in a little
she sees
stream.
Blinky, the three-eyed fish.
She sees, unfortunately, a bunch of stink lines coming up on a pigeon that unfortunately, was a carcass now. And it kind of was like the way Uba walked. She saw, unfortunately, two things. The editors they're showing us, and Uba, like you said, it's rude. She said, this is disgusting. Nobody go in the water. I don't want to touch that water. She jumps over the water and spills all of her shit as she tries to make it across this little river of water. And then she will not stop telling people how fucking disgusting this beach is. And everyone has the reaction that most people have, which is like, hey, please don't say that kind of stuff. Raquel wanted to show us her childhood beach that she loves and cherishes. You don't need to tell us how disgusting it is. And I totally get that read of it. But for me, as far as entertainment, it was very, very entertaining to watch Uba say all those things.
I was totally thinking Ramona, like, because she's someone that acts like that always, especially while traveling and, like, you know, demanding a high level of service and experience, and just has no tact whatsoever. I guess I'm just like, I don't like have a soft, it's hard to say you have a soft spot for Ramona, but there's just something so inherently entertaining about her, even though there are times when she's just so fucking rude that you're like, I hate you so much. But generally it's pretty funny. That I guess I'm just not like there with Uba, where I'm like, I don't find it charming. I get what you mean, but I was just like annoyed. Like, I was just like, I don't get, like, she doesn't have the yin and the yang that Ramona has, where like she's so funny and so rude. So like, to me, Uba is just like rude and not funny.
Uba, I don't think Uba is funny all the time, but for some reason, maybe because I'm at my wit's end with trying to appreciate the show. So I'm giving her a little benefit of the doubt for making my eyes light up a little bit. But she was funny to me in this episode. And maybe it was the editors too, because when they pick up the next episode, they're like, Uba will not stop talking about it. They add another one where she's going, it is fucking disgusting. I mean, it's just like, for some reason it hit that, I don't know what that type of humor is, where, you know, cringeworthy humor. It made me, you know, embarrassed, but in a way where it's like, and then Jessel kind of gives her the audience. She says, you know, I will never say it in a million years, but she's definitely saying what I'm thinking about this beach. So it added a little more validity to it's not just Uba who's being, you know, precious about this beach.
Raquel said she was disappointed by her fellow immigrants. Like, she was like, I would expect more from an immigrant like Uba. And she's like, but I guess Jessel's an immigrant too, and I don't expect much from her. So it was, I mean, I don't know. It just, the honesty of it, I don't know. She did see a pigeon with, you know, flies on it or whatever. But yeah, she shouldn't have done it. But that doesn't stop Erin from doing some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. She does what I've always dreamed of. This is my dream, 2025 resolution. I want to do jetpack water blowing. I have to imagine that takes a lot of core strength. Someday I'm gonna do it. She does that, and then Uba says, oh my gosh, a sign from God, it's raining, so I can leave this godforsaken beach behind. It really starts pouring. I felt bad for Raquel. I was like, she was just trying to put this together. Totally, when I put it in perspective of Raquel, how it's like, it's on her to pick the place. It made it way worse, and I was sad. If I didn't think about that, it makes it a little sillier to me. But no, I felt so bad for Raquel. And that's why it's actually a great moment, because I love moments where I understand what the reaction is going to be. And I fully validate Raquel and Sai for being like, that was awful what you did. You know what I mean? It's good. That's good. That's what's good about these shows, to have an action and a reaction that are both worth watching. But anyway, they go back. Do you think that why did Sai put a condom on her foot? Why did she have a condom?
I think that it was the easiest thing to put around her foot so that she didn't get that, because she has glass wedged in there or something. But
why did she have condoms?
I think she wanted to have sex and cheat on David while she was in Puerto Rico. Then Bren goes, hey, guess what? You know, I've got something that is going to boost us into the ratings, into the stratosphere. What if we all pretend we have Jenna's bush? I got Amazon Prime, and it's a bunch of little pieces of hair. Let's put them in our bottoms of our swimming suit and pretend that we have Jenna's pubic hair. So when Jenna comes out with her synchronized swimming cap, she'll see that we have a recreation of what her pubic hair looks like. And everybody says, that sounds like something good.
She also implies that she knows Jeff Bezos personally, and that's how she was able to get the fast delivery.
Billionaire humor.
Which I'm like, every joke she makes alludes to sugar daddy type shit.
She could have said, like, I know Jeff Bezos intimately, so you know, wink, wink, why I got Amazon Prime. And I've been like, that's a classic Brynn joke. That's exactly the kind of joke she makes.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, Brynn is being very selective. She hates Uba right now, and so she wants that to be the 10 out of 10 nuclear bomb. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's advantageous for her. But there's I'm sure some little turtle cuties in Villa Rosa VIPs will be like, oh, that is the most despicable shit in the world. But for Brynn, it's hard for me to get outraged knowing what Brynn's typical level of humor is. Sure. What'd you think about synchronized swimming after they showed the pube, or Jenna kind of just, she like looks at the pubes. It takes forever for them to see the pubes.
Yeah, I was like, we have to do the pubes and the swimming.
Yeah. Did you like the water babies edit that they did of it was like, what was that music that they did?
Yeah, it was like...
Oh, that's the Catch Me If You Can music.
In my memory, it was like...
That's exactly what it was.
I watched it half-assed last night when I was super jet lagged, and I watched it again to take notes, and I did the +10 over the water babies.
Yeah.
I was like, this is relevant, except that Raquel gets elbowed in the face by Jenna. And also, right before this, Raquel goes to talk to Uba about her rude comments, and Side joins.
Right.
And this is where she doesn't even like try for a second to be like, I get what you mean. Like, I get what you mean. I'm sorry. Like, that was fucked up. She goes, I've been to Puerto Rico more times than you.
Yeah. Yeah. And she goes, if I was on a safari and I saw a lion getting eaten right in front of me, I'd call out that we have a horrible act of animal violence happening to the side of us.
She just like, it was not entering her mind what they meant.
Yeah, she did not at all think about how like Raquel was like,
and I'm like,
Raquel was kind of,
remember how like the unspoken thing was like, remember when like Trump called Puerto Rico like a shithole, and like the whole nation like flooded, and it was like fucking horrible, and she obviously was like trying to like throw them a bone and like show the wonderful cultural nature of her homeland. Like, I'm like, read the room. Like,
true.
Just understand what she's trying to say.
True, but Uba, in her defense, she goes, all the world is going through horrible shit all the time. And I was like, huh? I mean, topical. Los Angeles is going through hell right now.
Yeah, so if I invite someone to LA and I'm like, look how fucking great my homeland is, and they're like, it smells, I hate it here, I'll be like, leave. So you can leave.
All right, so moratorium on people talking shit about LA? How long do we have? All right. Well, I thought I kind of revel in Los Angeles being the underdog.
Yeah.
So I am never, if people say LA is absolute shit, I go, keep thinking that.
Stay out.
Stay out. Keep saying New York City is the greatest city on earth, or whatever the hell you all say. Anyway, and then I love when Uba goes, I don't love it, but when it goes, you didn't make me sign an NDA, then I'm not going to talk shit about Puerto Rico on this trip. And I was like, wow, that's so funny that there could have possibly, that she thought that was like, that she could get away with talking shit because there was no NDA about her promoting Puerto Rico.
She was like, I actually hate all bodies of water, so it's irrelevant because I don't even swim. And I was like, all right. She also says
she also says, are you both ganging up on me because you're both Puerto Rican?
I know. I was like, if a white bitch said that, we would be like on another planet. I'd be like, ah!
Yeah. Yep. And then
if Ramona said that, I'd be like, ah!
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was. Well, yeah. Yep. And then Aaron is drunk, and Brynn goes, I know what we should do. Sex each other's partners.
Oh my God.
Let's send nudes. Who's going to let me call their husband? Aaron, will you? And I'm like, no, please. Whenever Brynn says something, just don't do it. Why would you?
I know. And then, why did she even think that would be funny herself?
Hasn't she already done this?
I know.
Haven't they already done this?
She goes, hey, Abe. And then Bryn is like, we're in the tub. What are you thinking about? And he's like, I'm not responding to that. Which I'm like, yeah, like he knows what's going on. Like he's not an idiot. Like
I don't know. I was thinking, what if
he was about to pull it out?
Here's what I'll say in his defense: 4 glasses of wine. He gets that call. He hears just Bryn and Aaron. He actually thinks they're in the bathtub.
Gonna do a full Jeffrey Tubin.
He was invited to start masturbating potentially.
It was crazy. I mean, I think it's weird the angle Uba took because it was like about like honor or something where I was like, well, that's not the issue. The issue is that it's fucking weird. Not that it's like you must respect your husband and like whatever.
Uba didn't like it. Uba didn't like a Bryn game about threesomes and trying to get a husband and trap a husband into saying I want to masturbate right now and have a threesome with you. She was like, you're on camera in case you don't know. And I respected Uba. That's the kind of moment where I'm like, okay, I don't morally object to what Bryn and Aaron were doing, but I also am totally fine with a cast member being like, I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. Abe, you're being filmed. Like, don't start masturbating, please.
Well, you know what's weird? I just remember on RHONY when they all sexed their boyfriends and Tinsley freaks the fuck out because she's like, I cannot do that. Like, it'll be so bad. Like, I really am not allowed to do that. And everyone was like, Trouble in Paradise, what the fuck? Like, she's so worried. And meanwhile, Dorinda, like, of course, John was like, hey, baby. Like,
oh my God.
He was like so down.
He goes, I'm the horniest I've ever been, Dorinda, please. I mean, all people are different, but not everybody would maybe want to sext their husband impromptu.
It felt like because Abe doesn't give a shit, and I believe, you know, she already showed everyone Abe's dick, which it doesn't seem like he cares about. So I'm like, if she knows that he doesn't care, then what do I care?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then I also was, I was okay with Uba having that response. I really didn't mind.
Yeah.
Brandon goes, she's such a dud. She sucks. She's sucking the life out of us. She's horrible. Can you believe this? This is so awful, right? And and then Aaron kind of, because Bryn is whispering in her ear, like saying, how horrible that was, Aaron goes, I really did not like that. That was despicable what Uba did. I can't believe that. But also Aaron is like drunk. But what Aaron is trying to say is that like she doesn't like that Uba like implied that Aaron doesn't have her husband's best interests at heart and she doesn't know him. Yeah. But I don't know. Well, so that's a stance she can take. Like, I don't mind. Yeah. I guess
they also, because they're like, like this is it's always such a thing when you try and bring anything up to Uba or whatever. And they show a montage of like every time Uba's been pissed. And it's always over like the dumbest thing. Like it always like spirals out. And I'm like, there's no like meat on the bone of anything she's ever pissed at,
I like, of those 3 moments, I like drinking the water and then calling Jessel a basic bitch, only because it, shocked me a little bit. But I did really like Uba responding to Aaron when Aaron at Dodgeball said, I have secrets on every last one of you. I really liked that Uba just said, no, you don't. Tell what mine is, because you're not going to imply that there's some weird secret I have in my life that only you know. I really appreciated that reaction. So of the 3 or 4 Uba meltdowns, I like 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really just not clicking with her.
All right. Okay. And then is this when they go into, can I push us into the hot tub metaphorically?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, within the discussion, because this is when I think the first actual real, I'm going to say this, like put a pin in this. I think this is the first real good fight that has happened on this new iteration of RHONY where people were actually pissed, having a back and forth that was meant to truly upset the other one. Yeah. I can't think of another one in this iteration. It actually had a huge spark of life. It's between Bryn and Uba. It only lasts for about 5 seconds because this new version of RHONY can't give us anything good for long, but it was like a white hot fight in that hot tub.
Uba changed her position in the hot tub so she could look her dead in the eye across the tub.
Bryn wants it. Bryn is begging for this. Bryn goes, "Oh, should I take it?" Because Bryn butts in about something about Aaron, and then Uba goes, "Go take a nap, Bryn. We're all fucking tired of you," or whatever. And Bryn goes, "Should I take a nap and suck a dick?" Referring to the time when you said in the Sprinter van that I suck dick to get on the show. And Uba says,
"I like, yeah, well, that'll shut you up if you have a dick in your mouth." I was like, okay, strike one. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Uba says Bryn is being fake, and she never is who she says she is.
Bryn goes,
like,
"Who, me? Fake? on this show? On RHONY? Me?"
Yeah. And I love Uba always talks in the first person. She's like, "Meanwhile, while you're being fake, I don't have to act that way because Uba is enough." Yeah. And, she's like, I don't have to... I think she said something about that she wouldn't have to fuck her way onto the show because Uba is enough. And Bryn tries to have a one-liner where she goes, "You're a commercial airline while I fly private."
Yeah.
And Uba goes, "With who? Someone else's husband?"
Yeah. Hell yeah. Good. I mean, Bryn's was not good. Uba's is good, off the cuff, a good retort. Bryn's is reminiscent of, Lala, comebacks
PJ,
or whatever, PJ
yeah.
shit. What someone else
says, "You're literally a Talbot's model."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Google my name." And she's like, "Why do you keep bringing up your name? You're not Naomi." And she goes, "Naomi Wish, Giselle Wish." And she goes, "No, they don't."
Yeah. And then Uba gets up and she goes, "Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit." And I was like, okay, in reciting that fight, it's not good. Like, it's not good, but it had the energy and the true hatred of two people who don't like each other, and it was the best this cast can do. You know what I mean? So it felt real and good. Uba's and Bryn's hatred of each other is real. It's one of the only real things about RHONY. So I like it. You know.
I saw that Uba posted the Talbot's net worth on Instagram. It was like $1 billion company or something like that. And she was like, "Look how well Talbot's is doing."
Yeah. Bryn is so obsessed with brands. It's like, come on, please talk about something else. Nordstrom Rack and Talbot's, like, we saw your merchandise at BravoCon. It was absolute dog shit. Yeah. So don't make fun of any brands. Why go that route?
Yeah.
So
then Bryn gets pissed off because during this fight, Aaron fled the scene because it was getting too dirty. And Bryn's like, "So much for standing up for me." And she was like, "I had to get out of there. I was diffusing the situation by leaving." And so then Bryn is upset because they had a pact that they would stand up for each other. And now in the other room, Sai is finding out that Aaron threw her and who else was it?
I don't know. That's all bad, RHONY. Like,
her and Bryn were talking shit about Jessel.
That's what they thought that they were going to do when a real actual fight was happening. And so it's almost too convoluted. It's like, yeah, Jessel is finding out that everybody's talking shit about her again, but it's the total telephone game where it's like, "Oh, no, wait, you're really mad? You said you were mad. I'm going to talk to the person who said you were mad." It's just garbage. Absolute
Meanwhile,
garbage.
Jenna's been in bed this whole episode, not earning her paycheck
She
for
kept
a single second.
She kept her water babies hat on in bed. But then Bryn basically almost, I would say, forces Aaron to take up for her. She goes, "You never take up for me. We had a pact. You said you were going to fight on my behalf, so go now and fight for me." And that is going to lead up Aaron to go talk to Uba, and it's going to create an absolute shitstorm. And I saw Andy tease it. Andy Cohen said, this is the darkest thing I've ever seen on a Housewives franchise that is going to happen in this finale.
Impossible.
I know. Is he losing his hyperbolic tendency
darker than when Kenya beat up Portia with a spire?
Yeah, Megan offered me some examples too. I forget what she said, but it was like, we've seen such horrific, horrible shit. I really have to I can't believe that this is possibly that this cast can get to, I don't know, the darkest thing that Andy's ever seen. We'll see. And I have to go back. I mean, I'm almost positive that's what he said. He was really teeing it up on Watch What Happens Live with Cy and Aaron. So I think that Uba is going to get really, really upset, and it's going to require like a fourth wall break or something. Because did you watch the preview for next week?
All the crew is in the video. Like,
yeah.
There's like 5 crew members on camera.
Yeah. So I don't want to, I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. Maybe RHONY can blow us away. The pieces don't seem to be there to create one of the most like,
they officially have to get rid of Jenna, right? If they're going to follow down this road.
You mean as a cast member?
Dead weight.
Yeah. I would say, I was like, is this too mean to like argue for like who should be? It just has to be retooled. And I at this point, I like it. They are not enjoying this show. Like I thought for a second, like Brynn pushed out an announcement that she was like not returning, and then she like deleted it too quickly because
it was fake.
Oh, it was? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Like, look at me just spreading fake news at the end of Turtle Time for no reason.
No, it was like a real... I did digging for a while, and then because I saw it on Twitter, and then she acknowledged, I think, that it was fake. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, if for the future of RHONY, I don't want to, like, say, but it's obvious that a major shift has to happen. And I really enjoy Raquel. I enjoy Jessel. I really, I don't want to take food out of Brynn's mouth, but I really, I was noticing these 2 episodes. I was like, everything driven by Brynn is creating very bad entertainment. It's what I am not enjoying about RHONY, and maybe it's fixable because Cy had a huge rebound after the first season. I mean, people might say that she's not as compelling this time, but I don't know. Maybe Brynn could possibly learn from some of these mistakes.
Minkoff, one and done.
It was kind of funny that Jenna, the nicest cast member, keeps calling her Rachel and can't stop. She's called her Rachel 6 times. I thought that was kind of silly.
Yeah, I feel like Rebecca is the quintessential one season wonder.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine.
It almost makes Anne Marie seem like Lisa Vanderpump. It is one of, I mean, no offense. She just doesn't like this show. She didn't watch it. She doesn't want to be on it. She doesn't like fighting, like everything about Rebecca. And she's not very, she has an interesting career, but they're not delving into it. So, that's a horrible decision.
Gotta go. Yeah, I watched, I think it was like, I forget which account it was, but they did a poll, like who needs to step up their game or something like that. And I was like, I don't even know which button to click, honey.
Oh, for real. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Could they really do it one more season? But it
makes me exhausted. I literally I'm telling you, because there was such a break in how long we watched it for. When we returned, when I put it back on, I was like, oh.
Oh, no. Oh, I felt the same way. I know. No, when I saw Brynn stirring up shit about Jessel, I was like, oh my God, you created my nightmare now while I was gone of the least entertaining thing I could ever imagine you all are going to do. Raquel was a great casting decision, but it's really hard to shine in this cast. It's a lose-lose. I'm sorry you got placed in this cast. It's rough as hell.
I know. Well, it's good to know, I guess, that was possible, that if they could find and bring in someone like her but more psycho from a different corner, that would be cool.
I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see, but at least something will happen. I mean, at least some casting shifts will happen, and maybe it'll get us out of this hell that is this season of RHONY. But I wanted to end, I want to say first, programming wise, that Tuesday, we already talked about this, but on Tuesday we'll have our episode encompassing everything we missed on Salt Lake City and Southern Charm. So that'll be jam-packed with everything. It'll include the Salt Lake City finale.
Yeah.
And, in a little bit of the episode that we missed, and then all the Southern Charm, some news. So stay tuned for Turtle Time next week. But Amy and I are going to take a little rest for about 4 days or 3 days until then. And then I want to say it feels good do you feel good to be back in Turtle Time?
Yeah, I feel like I just gave everything I have, because I'm like, what time is it in Europe right now. It's 4:53 a.m. So this is good because it'll keep me awake. Maybe I'll go on a brisk walk and try and make it to like 10 p.m. our time.
Oh, you can do
least.
it. Oh, I think you could do it for sure. That's amazing. Wow. Well, oh my God, you have 5 a.m. energy. Well, it felt good for me to be back. Once we started talking, I was so nervous about to record, starting to record this episode, but I felt good about it. I think we dive deep into this shit. So what I would say though, if you said, whoa, I missed Turtle Time, or I need more, I absolutely love everything that Amy and Riley do, and you haven't subscribed to the Patreon yet, I have to say I'm going to toot Amy and I's horn. We had 2 episodes back to back that I think are rip roaring in season 6 of Vanderpump Rules. They were so fun to talk about. We're in the Jax and Brittany cheating scandal that I'm shocked to be witnessing it with you, Amy, and talking about it. It's so fun and wild. So if you want to see us on there, that would be so fun. It's $5 a month and you get access to, I think, over 90 episodes of content. And we love our Villa Rosa VIPs, and Amy and I we didn't really do a lot of, we saw every comment, but we were both sort of away on vacation, but we love everything we see that our Villa Rosa VIPs post there, and we try to comment back when we can. So it's a fun community that we absolutely love. And then what's the last thing that we normally say?
Rate and review.
Oh, yeah, please. We haven't gotten a review since Thanksgiving. Please review Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and,
wherever
YouTube.
You listen.
And I want to say, okay, and I'm burning the midnight oil with Amy, but lastly, I want to say YouTube. I absolutely love that community. YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube now, I love the comments on YouTube. I love, for some reason, that section. I'm like, well, Villa Rosa VIPs are obviously top tier, but YouTube is also fun too. So I want to thank everybody who watches on YouTube.
Maybe YouTube will have a real moment if TikTok goes away. I feel like YouTube could have a new energy.
Oh, yeah. Just make those shorts better, whatever that shorts shit was that you guys were trying to pull off. But anyway, well, Amy, thanks for burning the candle at both ends. I'll see you a little bit later. Sleep wonderfully and get back on that precious time zone that we love. And stay safe.
I won't watch RHONY because I'll pass out immediately.
Woo! Yeah, you want to save that. And Little Trail Cuties, I want to say lastly, just if anybody in Villa Rosa VIPs, if you're going through this shit in Los Angeles, Amy and I have our full hearts and minds towards you, thinking about you, and it's so awful, but we'll get through this together, so
yes, LA strong,
as we always conclude each episode of Turtle Time with. All right, bye, Amy.
I love LA.
All right, bye.